Welcome to the Forefront Radio, y'all. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing all right? Do me a favor, share the room with at least 10 people. We're going to talk about it. Y'all see what's going on? Isn't it supposed to be Military Appreciation Month? Shalom, shalom. Isn't it supposed to be Military Appreciation Month? How y'all doing? What's going on in America, folks? What's going on in America? Y'all see what happened on the news recently? Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. Do me a favor, y'all. If the audio is clear, please place a 1 in the chat so that way I know that everything's working well on my end. Thank you, user 7684. I appreciate you. So, y'all, we got another story on the news. Isn't it Military Appreciation Month? What's going on? You got individuals that's using their authority in law enforcement to unalive people. What's going on? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. In a free and just society, should we have instances where citizens, where military personnel, where individuals that have served our country, America, fall victim to hall monitors with badges and pew-pews going around misusing their authority, so-called authority? What happened to the days where you could just give somebody a flashlight and a baton? What's going on? It's like, no matter what, you're seeing instances of situations occurring. At this point, there's no way to say that there's not an agenda. It seems to be the same demographic that keeps being mistreated in the land of the alleged freedom. What's going on here? What is going on? It's supposed to be Military Appreciation Month. What's going on, America? Talk to me. I'm going to invite a few people on stage. Please share your thoughts. I'm going to send you an invite. Please share your thoughts on this topic. If you want to come up and speak on the topic, please share your thoughts on it. Shalom, LJ. Hope you're doing well. Shalom, Humble. What's your thought on the topic?
Shabbat shalom, man. I feel like I ain't fighting for no country. I'm not partaking in it. I have people in my family that's in law enforcement and the military. And they say, why don't you join? Nah, that ain't for me.
I understand.
And I
Thank you for
wish
sharing your thoughts on that.
I wish our brothers would, stop being so gung ho on, hey, I gotta get this money. Yeah, it does come with benefits, but at what cost?
Right, that's true. That's a good thought. Thank you for sharing that. Let me ask the next guest real quick. XX, what are your thoughts on the topic? XX, you're online. What's your thoughts on the topic? XX, you're online. What's your thoughts on the topic? Okay, I guess the person isn't responding, so I'll drop them down. Let's get some more people. Shalom to y'all. Welcome, welcome to the Forefront Radio. Hope y'all doing well. Let's get some more people to come up on stage. I'm gonna send a quick invite. Come up on stage and let's talk about the topic. Don't be shy. All opinions are welcome as long as it's fruitful and productive. As long as it's fruitful and productive, we can have a conversation on this particular subject. You have any other thoughts, Humble, on the subject?
Nah,
All right. You was mentioning that you had family members that were involved in law enforcement. Could you touch upon that briefly?
yeah, my father was a police officer. My cousin, a good friend of mine, and his wife are both officers. And I've dealt with a couple different women whose fathers were police officers. And my cousin was actually second in command in the county that I live in. And everybody said, oh boy, you got a free fall pass. You could get in law enforcement easy with him.
Mm-hmm.
And although I could have just hopped in it.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I ain't feel right about being a slave catcher.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sit well with my spirit.
That makes sense. And I agree with that those sentiments because a lot of times when it came to getting resources for the family, you think what's the best course of action to provide financial support for your family, but understanding the what comes with those type of jobs, I could relate to you. Some people don't have a problem with utilizing their skill set to represent government for the corporations and gaining money and influence on that. But like you said, at what cost? If if going into a particular field or job or career has negative impact on your community, it's not good to look at your own self-interest. You got to always look at who gets impacted the most by it. So I agree with you. There was an opportunity for me to also get involved in law enforcement years ago, almost 20 years ago. Somebody wanted to try to recruit me in Atlanta, but it didn't turn out the way the Most High wanted it to be. So I never got involved in that. And then there was also an opportunity for me to join the military. I actually worked in a military hospital all throughout the United States. About two or three different military hospitals, one in Texas and one in Florida, and both of them wanted to recruit me into the United States Air Force. while I do respect the service that many of these individuals do, especially in the medical field with, combat medicine and emergency medicine and orthopedics, at the end of the day, I had to look at the history of the United States military and how they conducted themselves on a global level, and it wasn't with honor and integrity. The majority of the things they were doing was basically, overtly going into, foreign countries, using exploitation, using colonialistic thoughts, and calling it spreading freedom, calling it spreading democracy. And I found it incorrect to call it that when I saw how the countries that we went to ended up becoming impacted negatively. You could look at Panama, you could look at Haiti, you could look at Guantanamo in Cuba, and how they have overseas on Guantanamo Bay during the Gulf, Second Gulf War, the war in Iraq and all of that, how they were doing things they shouldn't do to citizens, and calling them insurgents and putting water on their head. You know what I'm talking about. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. So now we got this story. I want to invite a few people to come up and speak on this topic. We got a story that came out on the news of a brother that was unalive by law enforcement, and it's supposed to be Military Appreciation Month. So, what's going on in America? What's going on? Let's share your thoughts. I'm going to send some invites to a few people. Come up as a guest. Feel free to share your thoughts on the subject. My question for you is, what if this was your son? If this was your son, how would you respond to this situation? If this was your son, how would you respond to this situation? So that's the question I want to ask for those that's coming up as guests. I'm going to send a few quick invites to the people that are listening in. If you want to come up on the platform and share your thoughts, feel free to do so. So if this was your son and your son was unalive by law enforcement, how would you respond to it? Because we all in humanity are brothers, we are all sisters, we are all people with family, with friends, with different interactions with the community. So what are your thoughts on this? So this innocent soul here was unalived by police officers recently. It's all on the news, it's all on social media. Okay. He was unjustly attacked and assaulted by law enforcement, and unfortunately, the brother's not here anymore. So, Raina, welcome to the Forefront Radio. If this was your child or your son, how would you respond? Raina, you're on.
Yeah, it's something they do all the time, right?
Raina, you're on. Go ahead. You can unmute your mic. Go ahead. All right, XX, you're back on online. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
This is just a regular occurrence in America. They always do this. They don't care about. There was a couple years ago, a guy was in his military uniform, and they tried to pull him over. He tried to go to a gas station where it lit, so he could explain to them why he was speeding, and they pepper sprayed him, and they was like, "We don't care." One thing with white folks, they don't care. Even once you're black, they still don't recognize you. 2024. So in America, racism still stands.
YT.
Yeah, say YT because
Okay.
TikTok is
Okay. Okay.
sensitive on words. I don't
Okay.
want to get my account banned just because I say European or whatever. So say
Okay.
YT or say Red Lobster.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, 2024, all these laws that they passed and said things gonna change is nothing changed. Things remain the same.
Here's the sad thing. It even happens to Red Lobster people too, and they don't even see it. All the time when melanated people are expressing that the government is doing things that are encroaching upon their rights, they don't get it until it knocks on their door. When the FBI, the CIA, the DA, the ATF, the Alphabet Squad, and the hall monitors called police officers knock on your door and they bust through, and you get impacted. That's when everything melanated people said. Now all of a sudden it makes sense. It's like we got to be the sacrificial lamb. We got to be the Jesus for America to get unalive for people to say, "Oh, wait a minute, something's wrong." We're living in the Roman government again. The Romans are going around persecuting and unaliving and hanging strange fruits on crucifixions, and they still don't see it. They still don't see it. That's why I always say, either you get it or you don't. What's your thoughts?
I was just saying is every day people see the same thing on camera, and there's no law to protect melanated people, regardless if you're in uniform or not. The same government uniform, once you're melanated, you could be unalive, just like the regular citizen. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. That's an insightful statement. And I've seen that video that you're referencing. There was a military official that went into a gas station and was pulled over by law enforcement while in uniform. They were asking him why he was speeding, and he was answering calmly. And they were the aggressors in the incident, and they started spraying pepper spray all in the man's face. The level of disrespect is real. The level of disrespect is real. So now, XX, do you have any thoughts on the topic? Freedoms for our citizens is slowly going away. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, all of these so-called rights are starting to be diminished exponentially. All right, I guess XX doesn't have any thoughts on the topic. Okay. So I want to read something real quick, and it's something for us to consider because God Himself is going to have to be the one to intervene. When God has to bring divine intervention, it's going to be something significant. Watch this. Let's go to the Psalms chapter 10, and let's start at verse 4. It says, the wicked, through the pride of his face, his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffs at them. So I want us to consider how our Romanized government of America operates. They puff at anyone that comes against us. We're the greatest nation in the world. Make America great again. You can't come against us. Watch this. Verse 6. He says in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Do we not see this going on with the government corruption? Do we not see this going on where politicians are taking money and spreading money and laundering it overseas to different places, like blue and white state, like Ukraine? If you don't realize it's just money laundering going on right in front of your noses, you got to wake up and smell the coffee. And they'll lie to us on media. They will lie to us. They will curse at us. They will do deceit towards us. They will commit acts of fraud towards us. And we see it in front of our face and we ignore it like it's not going on. So now here's a Bible verse that compares to how law enforcement operates with innocent men, women, and children in the United States. Watch this, verse 8. It says, he, referring to the law enforcement, sits in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places does he unalive the innocent, his eyes are privily set against the poor. So now I want you to examine how law enforcement conducts themselves. Okay, do they not sit in the lurking places of our cities, our towns? Imagine you're driving down the road, right? You're going 5 miles above the speed limit. And all of a sudden, out of the secret place, a car just pops out and comes right behind you, meaning they were hiding and watching you. They were hiding around the corner watching you with that radar gun. Then they come behind you and say what? Oh, we see that you were going 5 above the speed limit. Okay, I'm sorry, officer. Let me get my license and registration for you. No, get out of the car. Get out of the car. What are you doing? Get your hands up. Get your hands up. Pew, 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 pew. That's what happens to a lot of citizens in the United States of America. They lurk in places in our villages, in our towns, in our cities. In secret places, do they unalive the innocent? Meaning, if it wasn't for cell phones to record it, we wouldn't even hear the stories, folks. They've been doing this for years. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a dash cam just for that purpose. And I wear gold fronts and and I I pop them out whenever they stop me.
Yeah. So what do you need? You have ring the light.
Thank you for sharing that, Humble. Appreciate that.
Oh, can I say something?
Sure,
I'm
go ahead.
probably gonna repeat myself. Is nothing changed though? Because I still have a video in my phone where I think it's North Carolina. They stopped this black guy and he was running, and the law, you should not shoot somebody in the back, and they shot him in the back multiple times, and a kid caught the whole thing on camera, and that's how it was exposed to the world. And they still go to trial and let him go, although it was video evidence. And people you have video evidence since the George Floyd uprising, and it was so much people was unalive within that time with the same treatment on camera, and they still let them go. So it's nothing changed. Like I just said, you could be in uniform. That means you think you are one of them, are you safe? Or you could just be a regular citizen. And they do the same thing. And people think things are going to change. And they say they're going to do this. They never have a real law that they change stuff. If they believe they could do it, and it's their country, and we're supposed to stay low towards them, and that's what they think. We is nothing. So we supposed to stay below them, so they're always gonna do it. Always gonna do it. On camera too.
You're right. I'm with you on that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I have a video on my account. If you haven't followed the Forefront Radio, please take an opportunity, if you're new to this channel on TikTok, to follow this account. Make sure that you follow this account, the Forefront Radio, so whenever we have live streams, you can join on and get a notification. So make sure you follow this account. I have a video on my profile. If you scroll through some of my videos, you'll be able to find it. A commenter had commented on it, so I'll make a remark about it, where a police officer, two officers took a young man in due to a DV situation, and they handcuffed the individual, placed him inside the car, and all of a sudden, an acorn from a tree falls on the car. And the cop rolls on the ground like Rambo. He's like, I'm hit, shots fired, pew, pew. And starts unloading all of his pew, pew. His water gun just went everywhere. You understand? He started to wet everything. And people are just looking like, what's going on? And they put the body cam footage and everything. The guy rolled on the floor like Rambo, and there was nobody there. Acorn alert. And then when they interviewed the police chief, they said, well, we have to do a better job training and all the listen. I really think that they specifically find people that were messed with when they were kids, and they like hate the world and hate life and hate themselves, and they say, oh, you'll be perfect for the job. You don't like nobody. You don't have any problem putting people in jail. You don't have any problem putting a quota. Listen, folks, there's cities, there's towns where they literally have quotas to say you need to have this amount of arrest, okay? You need this amount of arrest, you need this amount of traffic violations so we can generate funds for the city. I'm telling you the truth. I made a report where in Nebraska, or was it Oklahoma? Either Nebraska or Oklahoma, citizens are getting tickets on their own property for having their own car parked on the lawn. They will fine you $50 if you have more than one vehicle and your vehicle is not on the let's say you have a car and you didn't have the registration on it, or your car broke down and you put it in the backyard and you say, hey, wait till I save up money and I'm gonna fix it up and put it back on the road. They'll go into your backyard and say, hey, you can't have this vehicle here. Here's $50. You understand? There's another incident that I mentioned where a police officer went to a rural town and charged the person $1,000 over a city ordinance because their grass was 3 inches taller than what it needed to be. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. The land of the free, where traffic violations and citations cost more than your mortgage.
They do it to me where I live at. Uh, where I live at, they charged me to put up the number of my address. I didn't have the exact number on my address, and they said if you don't put it up, they're gonna charge me $300. Same thing. If my grass don't cut, same thing. Fine. If I park a vehicle in the back of my yard, you don't have no insurance on it, or you're working on your vehicle on your property that you pay property tax for, they come and see you, they charge you for it. So the system designed to make money off of you. You know what I mean? So like what you're saying, it's happening to me and I'm living it year in, year out. I want to say one more thing that I remember a couple years ago, right? Let me tell you. I think this NFL player, I think his name Pat Tillman, he was playing for the Arizona Cardinals, right? And he won some money. No, he signed a contract, $2 million, something like that. That's just before 9/11, right? And they have these young kids in America that, you know what I mean? They're not melanated, but they was like, okay, they bomb America, so they get up with hatred in their heart and they wanted to go fight to defend America. They don't have no training. They probably have 6 weeks of training. Run over there in the Middle East and get killed and come back. And they get up and they was like, yeah, we gotta go. Pat Tillman was playing NFL, and he get up and he go over there and they friendly fire killed them just because he wanted to go kill people. He leave the NFL.
Run that loud.
He leave the NFL just to go prove something, and friendly fire take him out. The only thing he got his name right on a bridge between Nevada and Arizona. That's where they put his name at. So he will always live in history just for that. I'm just telling you, have some people that get up and they just get up and they just go do stuff. You don't know where they come from, but they just get up and say, oh yeah, we gotta go do this. I don't know if you
Wow.
remember him. He was an NFL player and he got good money to play the sports. But for some reason, he had to get up with that contract because a lot of people didn't get that type of money at that time. And he got that money. He could live comfortable with his family. But no, he get up and said, no, he got to go over there and go do what he got to go serve his country. And when he got killed, it was by friendly fire. Somebody probably look at him and say, "You dummy, you get all of this, but for some reason you want to go do something where you probably don't have no business doing." And they, the same one, took him out.
Wow.
You can look him up. His name, I think his name, Pat Tillman. He got an only thing he got for it to show is a plaque with his name on a bridge between Nevada and Arizona, because he used to play for the Arizona Cardinals. So I think his name is on the Arizona side of the bridge, a plaque.
Amazing information, folks. And I'm glad that you're relaying this information to help us to see the things that are going on in society. In a free and just world, we should not have. I really want y'all to think about this. If a whole entire war was created over the Boston Tea Party, over being overtaxed, okay, overtaxed on tea. What about the egregious property taxes? What about these registrations for vehicles that they call a tax? What about these insurance scams? Okay. What about these people being unalived by law enforcement? When is it going to end? When is it going to end? Somebody needs to stand up and talk to the government. Listen, it's so bad, y'all. They're trying to pass laws to ban the Bible. They're trying to pass laws to ban the Bible, y'all. Do you understand? That means your government is no longer quote unquote Christian. They're satanic. They serve the devil. I'm trying to help you. Somebody doesn't get it. Watch this. Watch this. Let's continue where we left off. Psalms chapter 10, verse 8. Talking about law
Hey,
enforcement, right? You got a comment? Go ahead.
they said they're banning the Bible because it's anti-Semitic,
Right.
and we're wrong for reading the Bible and bringing out what's in the Bible, what it actually says, and now it's anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I say anti. You know that's another word you can't say on TikTok because then they'll try to ban you. So you got to say anti. All right. Let's go ahead and read it. It says, "He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places does he unalive the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lies in wait secretly as a lion in his den." So imagine in your mind a lion, right? That this animal that is not able to be protected. You can't protect yourself from a lion because that animal is strong. I can't read the caption. The caption says an innocent soul was unalived by mean-spirited officers. This young man was unalived by police officers. All right. It says, verse 9, "He lies in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draws him into his net." So now I want you to make the comparison here. So law enforcement, they specifically target the poor, the disenfranchised. Notice these stories never happen to people that are millionaires, billionaires, the rich and the wealthy. They're exempt from this. But you as US citizens that are in poverty, that don't have money to pay for a good lawyer, that don't have the financial resources to go to court to annihilate these wicked people, they secretly come against you. Verse 10, "He crouches and humbles himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones." Meaning what? There's military personnel now and military armaments given now to these pew pew soldiers called police officers. And think about the transition. They went from having nightsticks and billy clubs and flashlights and handcuffs to now they have drones. Now they have tanks. Have you not seen the transition now? They have flashbang pew pews. You understand? All right. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. We got a guest that wants to come up. Maku Taku.
Yeah, full front. I'ma be back, man.
All right. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Oh, forefront. Let me give you one more. I remember a couple of years ago, right? In this great country, America, there was a lot of melanated people was getting killed by the same police, right? So this black guy, he was an ex-military person, so he get mad and they was protesting somewhere. I don't remember the state. He was in a garage, and he take his rifle and he starts shooting at law enforcement. You know what I mean? And because he tired of we being getting killed all this time, so he pick it up on himself to defend. You know what they do? They use a robot, like you said, invention, right here. You can look it up, and they blow him the hell up. They use a robot and blow him out the parking lot. That's how they do it. And you were like, oh no, the greatest country. You would never see people do stuff like that. They blow him up with a device. He was bombed out that garage right here. That's how serious they take life. You can't make this up. You wouldn't believe that the same government could use a bomb on their city. Didn't you know they dropped a bomb in Philadelphia a couple of years ago on some people? They call them the Move people, and they was protest.
1985. Yep.
Yes, there was protesting, and they use a helicopter. They use a helicopter, and they have the bomb up in the helicopter, and they bomb the whole block and kill them. So it's not like that's like you would have said, oh, the government do it. So they have other means that they could wait them out. They could ask them to surrender. You know, they could go in like with riot gear and take them out, but they just bombed them. They bombed them. They could wait them out if they wanted to, talk to them, counsel them, guide them. They got kids in there, so you know, I mean, if things flare up amongst your citizens and you have children in the building, you could say, all right, you give them some time, you talk to them, and you could convince them to just like let the kids out, then come out. I guess they was like, you know what? Nah, we're not playing with y'all. You know what I mean? This is not like overseas. This is not a third world country. This is not like in the jungle somewhere or a camp. This is on a city block. And they take you out on a city block. Trust me. And you don't get no compensated with that too. Point blank, period. They're not going to compensate you either. And that's it. That been passed. And that's what we know about. What about we never know about before? Before, when you have your home and they could come to your house and they just pull you out and just do whatsoever they want with you. Like I've been watching videos where they talk about like they could say you whistle at a woman of color and they kill you for that. They analyze you for that, for whistle at a person, looking at a person, living amongst them, live close to them, you know, driving across the lines you're not supposed to. You go in a neighborhood where you're resented, you know what I mean, you can lose your life. So we're just not really welcome here. You know what I mean? You're welcome to work and you're welcome to go to school and you're welcome to do the hard work where you're not going to be appreciated. You know what I mean? You do all the work and you get less paid, and you got to watch where you live. Because if you live someplace, matter of fact, money don't even mean nothing to these people. That's how much money they have. You could have money, but once you're melanated, you still ain't get no justice. That's something that show you how man control the world, and you get laws. You can have money in your right and still lose it once you're melanated. Money don't even mean a thing.
Yep. That's exactly the case. Ask Oprah Winfrey when she went over to France and tried to buy a purse, and they said you can't buy no purse here. They said, "Hey, you don't see I'm Oprah Winfrey?" They said, "I don't give a damn if you're Oprah Winfrey."
Yeah, I remember that.
What's going on, Makataku?
Hi, bro. How are you? Good evening. I'm
Doing
from
good. You from
Indonesia.
Indonesia?
Yes, I'm from Indonesia.
All right, all right. You got any thoughts on the topic as it relates to what's going on in America? Share your thoughts.
Yes, I'm from American and politics is good. Indonesian and politics not good. I'm from everybody Indonesian politics.
Speak up for me.
Uh,
Speak a little louder for me.
yes.
Speak louder for me. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Repeat what you said louder for me because I can't hear you. Go ahead, Maku. What's your
Hello,
thoughts?
hello.
Go
Hello,
ahead.
bro. Yes. So speaking.
Yeah, go ahead. What happened? He disappeared.
Yeah, remember Oprah too? She said she don't eat beef, and they took her to court. And this country have a law, constitutional law, say you have free speech, and they take her to court just to let her know that listen, you make a statement and we're losing money off beef, and they took her to court. She eventually win though, but she had to go through that stuff. You know what I mean? And she used that free speech. I guess she win the case, but you also have to have money because if you don't have no money, and depends on what you say, you could basically lose everything that you work for too on the
Hmm.
lawsuit. Yeah, defamation of character or something. I don't think they use that word though, but she said she don't eat beef, and they said from she said that the beef industry they lose a lot of money, so they took her to court. You know, what I mean? They took her to.
Really?
They did, yeah. You could look it up. They took her to court because she have money. You know, so if you look that one up, you will see it. Oprah Winfrey was brought to court just because she said she don't eat beef,
Wow.
and they took
That's
her to court for that.
egregious.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this system, let me tell you, there was a young lady, melanated young lady. She win a lot of money. Her boyfriend was keep getting locked up in trouble, and she win millions of dollars. And every time, for some simple case, because they know she's stupid, she's gonna bail him out. The judge keep charging her 900,000, 500,000 to bail him out. And she keep going and get him out. And before you know it, she lose all her money. That's how much she love him. You know, for a simple case, they just up the price of the bail. Now she had to pay all that money to the system, and she lose everything. Like they know she got the money and she gonna bail him out. And I'm telling you, the system in America, they just know how to treat people. She don't have enough sense. Was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave him in there. I don't know how he just have that minor charges and his bill. Just cause I have money and they know I'm with him, his bill gotta be extremely high. They know how to milk you. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I agree with you because it's not just on the law enforcement side; it's on the court systems as well, where the court system was previously formed by the Roman Inquisition. You have to think about this. America is a modernized Roman system because the Capitol buildings are all Roman. The writing on the money is Novus Ordo Seclorum and Latin numerals, Roman numerals. The laws that they have is all based on Rome. The week days of the week based on Roman gods. The months of the years based on Roman gods. So it's all Roman Inquisition. I have a book that's literally like maybe almost $50,000 because this book shows some of the correlation between the United States justice system and the Roman Inquisition. So they don't want the general public to read that type of information. But in that
Mm-hmm.
book, during the Roman Inquisition, the government, when they would arrest you, they would say, "You're guilty unless you prove yourself innocent by, sliding money under the table, or we're going to give you a public defender, and the public defender's job is to tell you to say, plead with the mercy of the court, meaning plead yourself guilty, and whatever the court says to do, accept it. And that's the same thing going on today. So during
Right,
Roman
right.
tradition, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I say right. And one more thing I could add to you just said it. I'm just gonna agree with you. When the doctors write a prescription for you, they use Roman, what do you call it? Uh, Numerals on the prescriptions. That's all they do. You can't see what they write, but it is in Roman too. You know that, right?
Yep, that's exactly true.
Yeah, the Roman, yeah, they use that on the script. In the script they writing, I don't know if they still do script, cause everything going digital now. But I remember when they writing a script, you cannot see the rest of Roman numeral they put on the script at the bottom. So
Hmm.
they still use it up to date. So it's the same system that continue. Because if you're gonna write a script for a person, they write your full name, they write the script, and then something you don't understand, like on the back of the money, Romans, what I mean, numeral on the script. So there's, like you
Hmm.
said, up to today, they still write the same thing. It's on your money, it's on your building, and it's on your script.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So the correlations between Rome and America are clearly to be seen if you have eyes to see it. The Roman Colosseums, where the gladiators used to go and fight, that's the same thing today with our stadiums, with our sports teams, going to watch them sing and beat each other to a pulp, or the wrestling or the football, you know.
Yeah.
So now
I
think
mean,
about what you just mentioned about the court. I remember seeing a situation where somebody had a fine for a misdemeanor, and it was $20,000. The same crime to another individual, and they charged that person $200,000. Is that fair and equitable?
if they know you got it, they're gonna milk you. If they know you got it, they're gonna milk you. Remember, money don't mean nothing to these people. Wesley Snipe went to prison. He had, I think he didn't pay his taxes, and I think one of the Isler brothers, and they have the money. They was like, okay, you are actor. He got good character. People come and speak for him to the court. He was remorseful for he didn't pay his taxes, but he had enough money at that time where he gonna pay to stay out of jail. He gonna pay the fine and interest at the court, and he present the check, and they was like, "No, we don't want your money. We're gonna make an example out of you." So he had to do the time, although he had the money. So the system is like I grew up in Jamaica, right? And they do got that system there, but I never really see they do any entrapment in money, but when I'm growing up, like park a bait car or a truck with some goods in a black neighborhood and bait you to go take it to lock you up. That's how that's how this country is. Like they said, the country, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the government come up with a scheme how to get you in prison by entrapping you. Put a truck full of goods in the neighborhood so you could go get it, or put a bicycle down, or put anything that they want to lock you up in your neighborhood. Like we're talking about black family, father in a house, to keep the black family stable. But some reason you could put, especially with minors, because with minors they don't think. You have minors in the neighborhood, and you're gonna put like something that minors like a bike, a video game, a car full with video game visible, so you could see it. So your probably parents can't afford it, but when you look, you see a truck with the video game that you want parked in your neighborhood, and you go take it, and you don't know that as long as you live, once you get that arrest, it's gonna remain on your name for the rest of your life as a young kid in your black neighborhood. So from your start to finish, probably your life can change. You know, your life can change, and you don't even realize it because kids do make mistake, don't they?
Right.
Yeah, but if you're gonna enable them to make the mistake, this country cannot be the greatest country if you're gonna do that. Can't. You're not supposed to entrap children or bait them to do stuff and then call yourself the greatest. That's I don't see nothing in that. That's great.
I'll pretend like we're playing poker, and I'll ante up on this. in Dothan, Alabama, in Dothan, Alabama, over a period of 20 years, the police of Dothan, Alabama, purposefully now targeted innocent men, women, and children and planted drugs, stuff on them. Let me not say the word because TikTok with their censorship. Planted substances on them. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
20 years. It wasn't until I think Vice News or another well-established media company came out with a news story on it. I think it was the Young Turks or Vice News, and that got exposed. But 20 years, that means 2 decades worth of false arrest on
Wow.
innocent men, women, and children. 2 decades, y'all.
And they did find a judge that was getting paid to lock up kids, juvenile. A couple years ago, it was in the news. They was getting money to lock up juveniles. I don't remember who, or keep you, or keep you in the system. Like he was saying, they set up trap to catch you. You know what I mean? Always have the innocent waiting, and they catch you in the trap, like the verse you just read. It's the same thing in Mississippi. They used to have the poor people in Mississippi, Alabama, and them places paying higher taxes than wealthy people that have the finances. Wealthy people pay
Mm-hmm.
less taxes than the person that have money. Like they said, the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. So that's how the system is. And you have people, we live it every day, we know it, but we just live with it. We definitely live with it. These things that May talking about, they've been going on for years. TikTok, people talking about it get more exposed. But at the same token, I don't, since these laws in place, I don't think nothing changed. They might get a little bit leniency, but for the most part, you still can get entrapment in the system and you have to pay because there's a couple years ago, black people was melanated people was afraid to drive on the 95 north going on the New Jersey Turnpike. You drive on that turnpike. That's how it's set up, like that stuff you're talking about in Alabama. It's set up that if you're melanated and you're driving on the New Jersey Turnpike, you're gonna get pulled and you're gonna get fined, you're gonna get arrested, maybe maybe unalive, because the system designed that these people, we're gonna target them on this freeway. And it make the news, and after that it kind of squashed down. We have a lot of freedom to drive, go to New York on the New Jersey Turnpike without being fear of losing your life or or go to jail for anything. For anything. And you know what's so ironic? I grew up in
What's
Philly.
that?
And when I grew up in Philadelphia, you have most of the officers that's supposed to protect and serve. That's in the law, right? They
Speak up for me. Speak up for me. Speak a little louder.
I'm saying most of the law that the government said is to protect and serve, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
said on the police vehicle, it said with honor and integrity, right? That's what mark on the vehicle. And certain areas when you go there, you're being watched, you're being pressured, and I remember they have different they have different system that they're coming up with, because if you get convicted, You know, I know a guy sing a song say, "Don't be tricked and get convicted and become a victim of the system. Don't get tricked and get convict and become a victim of the system." That mean if you get convicted, they could take your DNA, store it in a database. You know what I'm saying? And take your eye, what you call it? When they take your eye, they have this technology now where they call where they take your eye, right? So if you go through an airport or you in anywhere in the city, you could be watched. They could know every move that you make. So you know it is when you are a free man, it's always better for you to be a free man. That means you have a lot of freedom how God make you. But if you get tricked and get convicted and they put you in their database, they know exactly where you go at and where you're at all the time. I forgot what's the new word for this technology they have out here now called facial recognition. Yeah, that's the technology, facial recognition. So once you get convicted, they don't take only your fingerprint now. They take your eye, the iris of your eye, just to identify you. So it doesn't matter where you go. If you enter a bus, once you get caught on camera, if you enter an airport, a bus port, a seaport, you just don't have the freedom. You could be stopped. You could be stopped at a mall because once a red flag come up on you, remember, if you're an American citizen, if you get convicted, they don't even want you to vote. That freedom taken away from you. So it's always good for I talk to young people, do not get convicted, because if you get convicted, sometimes you're not allowed to get a job. Yeah, go ahead, forefront. You could call up some more people, read some more stuff. Cause I don't see anybody on
They
here.
tried to shut down my live, y'all.
Why? It's only me and you up here.
They try. Hey, I tried to add something on here, and all of a sudden it started glitching on me. It kicked me off my own live, and now I'm back. Censorship is real. Censorship is real. Y'all make sure y'all get the likes up to at least 10K so we can attract more viewers. More likes means that there's more viewers, so let's keep it up. Let's get the likes up. Invite at least 10 people into the room, so that way the more we share, the more we care. The more we share, the more we care, meaning the more likes are up on these platforms, the more viewers come and get attracted to the content. So we're touching on, folks, the things that are going on in the United States, but many people don't realize that these situations are biblical-based prophecies. These are biblical-based prophecies in the Bible, showing you that the Bible is a true book. God forewarned that in these last days, perilous times shall come. And we're trying to help those that are not understanding that these are biblical-based prophecies to see the Bible as a real book, that our salvation is near to come. The kingdom of Christ is not going to reign with the kingdom of Satan. You understand? So Christ's kingdom is going to overcome all the evil that we see. So now we're going to read to you in the Bible about the kingdom of Satan and how they operate, and let's make a comparative analysis. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10. This is the mindset of the kingdom of Satan. It says, "Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reference the ancient gray hairs of the age." So now, if you examine the United States of America, does the United States oppress the poor? The answer is yes. Do the United States persecute innocent people? The answer is yes. Does the United States not have any favoritism, nor spare any widow? Knowing that the woman doesn't have any money or resources, they don't care. I saw a news story where a woman had land off the beaches of California, and the land was billions of dollars. They forced her to sell it at low value, They remodeled the property and made it into a beachfront property worth over $4.5 million. But originally, that land belonged to her husband, who was a doctor that bought it back in the 1920s or 1930s. So they don't care about the widow. Then it says, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. You see people as old as Bill Cosby being arrested for things that happened 20, 30, 40 years ago. But here it is. You have presidents, you have politicians that are in the news for government corruption, but nobody goes to jail. No, nobody said that the current president Joe Biden is an accessory to his son being a crackhead. Nobody says that. Nobody says, "Hey, you need to go to jail for negligence because your son is a crackhead." They don't do that when it comes to their good old boys. You understand? Let's read on. It says, "Let our strength." This is how you know it's America. "Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth." So the mindset of the government structure is utilizing their laws of justice to create injustice towards those that they consider feeble. I remember during the 1920s to the 1940s, they would refer to melanated people as feeble-minded. When they were propagating the American eugenics movement and trying to convince United States citizens that were melanated to go into their clinics to unalive their own children, that's what they were doing, right? They call them feeble-minded. They're not fit, quote, fit to have their own children. Watch this. Verse 12. "Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean, contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objects to our infamy the transgressions of our education." So the same way Jesus Christ was a righteous man standing up against the Roman government, saying, "You pass laws, but these laws violate the laws of God." It's the same way today, where you have laws being passed in the United States that violate the laws of morality in the Bible. God says there's certain actions that human beings should not do. Boy and boy is bad. Girl and girl is bad. America says, no, we're going to pass a law saying you can get married. You see that? America is adverse to the Bible. America is against anti-Bible. So therefore, by default, anti-Christ. Watch this. "He professes to have the knowledge of God, and he calls himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion." So just like the Romans didn't like Christ, just like the government didn't like Christ, it's the same way they don't like his people. If you want to be a righteous person on the earth, they're not going to have your best interest at heart. They're going to say, "Oh, you're too religious for me. You're trying to be all holier than thou. Don't judge me." That's how they speak in today's society. When you speak in regards to moral grounds, they tell you that your moral grounds are not justified, when in reality, their immorality is not justified. Remember, this is the same government that said that human beings were classified as 3/5 of a human being by law. By law. So anyone that would classify human beings and compare them to dogs and sheep and goats and cattle, do you think they have your best interest at heart? No. So melanated people have tried to warn you for years that the governmental structure does not have its citizens' best interests, but now you're seeing it with money going overseas to Ukraine, money going overseas to other places all over the planet. You're seeing it with your own eyes. Welcome, Hanak 7. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your thoughts on the subject? How you doing, Hanak? Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your thoughts on the subject? Hanak, you're currently on stage. What's your thoughts on the subject? I think the brother probably hit the guest button and didn't realize that he came up as a guest.
Yeah, good.
Oh, there there you go. He just came back. Hit the guest icon again, Hanak. Where did he go? Where did he go? Hit the guest icon again, Hanak, if you would. You wanted to share your thoughts, Raina? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I just seen a video with the governor of Florida, this Ron DeSantis, passed a law that he does not want the people of his state to eat laboratory chicken because he said it killing out and beef, it killing out the Florida um, agricultural business in farming. They got a lot of cow. They got a lot of cow that they harvest in Florida. So if the FDA approve man-made meat, they're gonna lose out a lot on their farmers. So he passed a law for them not to eat this meat. And in my own consciousness that go to the supermarket, what we gonna do is like we don't have a choice. What we're gonna start eating man-made beef and man-made chicken? What kind of world we're living in? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. So you telling me they just killed
Yeah, that's
one of our
crazy.
people again?
Yeah, that's another subject altogether. The manufacturing of foods.
So they killing one of our people again?
Hey, Tristan. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your thoughts?
Uh, they unalive one of our people again?
Tristan, you're on live. What's your thoughts?
It's me. It's me. It's me.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. They unalive one of our people again?
Yes, sir. What are your thoughts on the subject?
The officer deserves death.
Hey, the brother didn't sugarcoat anything. Oh man, I hear you. Definitely, I hear what you're saying. If I really want people to consider what the brother just said, because if they passed a law that if it's found out that a government official unalives a citizen unjustly, that they themselves and their family would receive the same punishment, the same penalty, then you would see these crimes that are committed drop exponentially. That's a fact. That right there,
Wait,
that the brother just said, is a fact. If they passed a law right now in 2024 saying if a police officer, a law enforcement official unalives a government employee, unalives a United States citizen, the same treatment that they gave goes to them and their family, you would see those crimes exponentially drop. You wouldn't have anybody having conversations about government corruption because the government would really be about justice. That's truth. And I don't care what denomination of church you go to. I don't care what religion you stand by. I don't care what cultural you stand by. That's just fact. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. That's logical. But go ahead, Tristan. I'm sorry. Just what you said was hilarious, but it's true.
I guess time you get that wish is when Yasha comes back.
That would
I'm
never
sorry.
happen. That would
I
never
said,
Repeat that.
happen.
I said only I guess only time that would happen if Yasha comes back.
That's right, but that would never happen on people on the planet. There is no government or department under the system would ever let that. Then the government need to have control of everything in every country in the world, and it starts from the same system. It doesn't matter what country you go to, the government always tell people what to do, where to walk, where to work, and pay your taxes. That would never happen. Never.
So nobody of the fucking partners nobody or
Hey,
in the
Tristan, do
department
me a
or
favor.
other
Try
guys
not to use
partners.
any profanity because we got children that listen on this particular uh, podcast. So please refrain from any profanity. But go ahead.
So no other people in the department, even the man's partner, did not put a stop to it. Did not stop them. So I don't want to hear about some making stupid excuse like they did last time. Every time they shoot us, every freaking time they make some stupid excuse that has no common and freaking sense. And that, like even a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, kindergartens, pre-Ks, even freaking fifth graders have some common sense than them. They make it up, and you say you were defending yourself, but whole campus says anything and they just shut it down. So that's also the reason why I woke up in the first place. Is because we're learning of our land, or we're in a land in captivity, and I I just wanna. it's just a lot of things I want to say in my heart and also in my mind.
Well, let me read it
So
out of the
I can't.
Bible because maybe the Bible will help you to kind of process this. Watch this. Let's go to Psalms chapter 10 real quick, verse 12. Because is there going to be a just recompense? Yes, the Bible does talk about divine retribution. So let's touch on it briefly. It says, Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thy hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore does the wicked contemn God? He says in his heart, Thou shalt not require it. Thou hast seen it. Watch this. It says, Thou hast seen it. Thou hast seen it. Thou hast seen it. In Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite to requite it with thy hand. The poor commits himself unto you. You are the helper of the fatherless. You are the helper of the fatherless. Now, watch this. It says, Break thou the arm of the wicked, and the evil man seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Showing you that when Christ returns on the scene, folks, it's going to be divine retribution like you've never seen on the earth. He's going to repay those that have done evil on the earth exponentially. So you're not going to have the kingdom of injustice with the kingdom of Christ sitting right next to each other. I hope it's tomorrow. All praises to the Creator. All praises to the Creator. So now, what are your thoughts on this, Christian and Raina? Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Oh, you talking about me?
What are your thoughts on this scripture?
It's pretty good.
I like that answer. I like that answer. What about you, Raina? What are your thoughts on this scripture?
Rhino?
Yeah, Raina, what's your thoughts on it? Unmute your mic.
I probably gotta do something.
Okay, he probably stepped away. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Raina probably stepped away from the phone or something.
Yeah. And another brother. Never seen his son. Never seen him have a wife. Never seen him get married. Never seen him have children. Never see him
Yeah, my
He probably younger
condolences
than
goes to
me
this brother.
and his family, and many people lost their fathers. Police brutality has to force them watch when a gun, AR-15 pointed in their faces, when their mothers and their fathers, especially their fathers and their sons and their brothers and their uncles and their cousins, getting beat half to death or actually get beat to death by police, constantly get pistol whipped, constantly putting knee on their neck and their backs, somewhere, some in the windpipe, or somewhere in their backs to make sure it can suffocate completely. And they just laugh about it while other people suffer. So I would literally tell them that it's the same thing that we was in high school once. So actually, like just like the graduated high school, and we had to argue for folks in high school. It's one thing he said talking about don't be the black sheep. Do you get any idea what that means? Like being the black sheep?
What do you think?
I think like being the black. I think I heard it before, but I need to look it up. But I guess that being the black sheep is you're aware of things, and like you because I be hearing like you being a black sheep, that means you can break generational curses.
Ah,
Uh,
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
I be hearing on TikTok, but I ain't look it up myself. So
I would agree with the break generational curses. So the next question would be then, how do we break generational curses?
at that time, didn't know, but now I guess keep the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith in the Messiah,
That's
and
exactly right.
keep the Most High, the Father, close to you at all times. Pray for the spiritual discernment, because not everybody can be your enemy. Everyone, every last one of them, can be your enemies. Even your friends you hang out with think there's a friend. I was afraid of myself because the last times many women, all women, were friends with white tea women in college and end up missing their body parts missing, or they have a dead body or died in dead body in a ditch or there's some kind of lake or in a cave or end up dead. So I thought if I have friends, and I ain't gotta worry about constantly if they have friends like that. Do they really do you actually see me as a human being, or they just sees me as a slave, as a bank, as gold, and my skin is worth valuable. The paper monies that we have today, and to see a way to get paid, had to kill us just to get that money, because our melanin is more finer than gold and silver and platinum today, and it's worth millions. So I guess the reason why they kidnap our people and take their organs in their heart, sell them or eat them.
Hey, you
You don't know
going
what they
into
do to
topics
us.
they don't want you to talk about on TikTok, brother. You cooking on you cooking on topics they don't want you to touch on TikTok. These are more like Discord conversations right here because they already gave my account a couple of strikes, brother. So be mindful. I
So
hear you, and I understand where you're coming from. Trust me, what you're touching on, a lot of these discussions are held offline. So, you know, keep it kind of general. Don't get into any specifics because once you get into specifics, then they'll start trying to censor. This is like my third account. So whenever I talk about real stuff that's impacting the community, they end up trying to block me or giving me a community strike and all of this stuff. So, this is why I always stick to reading scriptures because when you start going into specifics, then people get in their feelings. But yes, those type of situations are happening. Those type of instances are happening, which is why it's very important for us to find the solutions to break these generational curses. That way we can obtain mercy. Okay. But trust, I understand where you're coming from. And yes, that is going on. There was a recent story of a young lady that went out on a date, 19-year-old, first date. And then she ended up being, how can I put this? Let's say the cotton candy was crushed. Let's put it like that. Let's put it like that. And pieces of the cotton candy went to different areas. So, like you got to speak in code in order to talk
Yes, you
about
can code.
certain things. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that happened to her, and the person went to court, and the mother gave her thoughts on the subject. But that's what's going on in 2024, y'all. Things are like true crime. Correct. Thank you for putting that on there, use Jay. That's exactly what it was. Cotton candy everywhere. So we speak in codes over here, so that way TikTok censorship team doesn't manipulate my numbers and stuff. But yeah, do me a favor, y'all. We got 100 people that are in the room. Let's tap the screen. Let's get the likes up to at least 15K. Share the room with at least 10 people. If you have any thoughts on the subject, if you have any scriptures you want to share on the subject, uh, please feel free to hit the guest icon and come up. What solutions can we provide for our communities where these situations are happening? How do we provide comfort for our brothers, comfort for our mothers, comfort for our sisters and brothers, comfort for those in the diaspora dealing with these things? That way they can understand the importance of unity, okay? So please show your love by tapping the screen and getting the likes up and sharing the room with at least 10 people, y'all. I would greatly appreciate it. By sharing the rooms, we can get more insightful discussion and get more thoughts on the subject. Okay. All right. So if anybody want to come and share their thoughts, feel free to hit the guest icon. I think TikTok, you need at least 100 or 200 followers to come up as a guest. So feel free to hit the guest icon and place your remarks on the particular subject.
Yeah. Sorry for not speaking code.
It's okay. I know you're not familiar with the online platform, so when we come online, we got to speak on code. So make sure you're using terms that are not gonna cause the account to be banned. But I totally understand your frustration. The reason why I say that is when you read Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7, it says, "Surely oppression makes a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart." So when you see oppression occurring, yes, it's going to make you upset, but the Bible gives you the tools necessary on how to channel that frustration in a positive direction. So when I used to see these stories, I would get upset. But then what I did was, okay, let me educate the people on the topic. Let me read and give them solutions so they could see that, yes, there's going to be deliverance for those that are going through these things. So you don't walk around hopeless. So you don't walk around depressed. So you don't walk around, trying to get revenge. Because the Most High is going to bring revenge. Trust me. He's going to bring revenge. It's in the Bible. Watch this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. Do you know what that says? That's telling you that those that live ungodly on this earth, the imaginations that they've had against innocent men, women, and children is going to come back to them. You understand? You don't have to stand up and do anything about it, because guess what? God is going to repay them according to their own imaginations. So think about that for a moment. It's what people call today karma, but what the Bible says is you reap what you sow. So whatever was sown on the earth through governments, through the global elites, through the politicians, through the pastors, because remember, these are all sanctioned by both government and religion. God says himself, let's remove religion and politics from the equation. God says you reap what you sow. That's what he says. You see? So that gives me comfort because that shows me that nobody's going to get away with doing activities that go against human justice and morals and divine law. No one gets away with that. Okay. What's your thoughts on that, Tristan and Rainen?
That's a good one too. That's a good one too. That's a really good one. I never heard that before. In a little bit, machinations. He knows your thoughts, and that's automatically tells me that he know your thoughts, and you fucked. I'm sorry, you messed up.
Keep it PG-13, brother. or actually, keep
Sorry,
it PG.
yeah, so KBG. So I'm sorry, man. I'm just not in the mood. I'm just really not in the mood right now.
I understand,
I'm
brother. I understand.
I'm a little bit shaken right now.
Trust, I understand. When we see these stories, it can be a tad bit frustrating because you see yourselves in these situations. But the cause for disciplining oneself and being orderly causes us to say, okay, with this going on, how can I provide solutions to the community? This is why we're covering this topic because we have brothers, especially younger brothers that want to be able to process these emotions positively. The greatest thing you could do is be a voice for the people. The greatest act that you could do is to inspire the minds of young men, young women, to break the generational curses impacting our community. That way, these things don't get perpetuated. Because remember, I could flip this on the other side and say, okay, instead of this instant with the police officer and this young man, what about the situation with Kendrick Lamar and Drake? Where people were in front of Drake's house going pew, pew, pew. That's the same thing. You see? That's the same thing. How do we channel all of this anger to alleviate some of the things we see going on in our community? Black on black crime, substance abuse, DV, missing fathers, missing mothers, orphans, widows. How do we assist and provide solutions for them? You understand?
Yeah.
All right. So don't be discouraged by these things that's going on. Comfort yourself through reading and studying the scriptures and finding solutions that will help our people. So now I'll give you an example. In Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17, it says this. Leviticus chapter 19. This when somebody asks me, what do I think about black on black crime? I go to this scripture because it gives me comfort on how to bring solutions to the people. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17 says this. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So right here we see that loving your neighbor as yourself is loving your people, loving your brother, your kinfolk. So
Yeah.
think about it, y'all. We have more of our people that will have enmity in their heart towards their own before they have enmity towards those that mistreat them outside of the community. So how can we promote unity within ourselves? Because guess what? If we were more united, you would see less stories of this.
Yeah.
Trust me, the police officer's name wouldn't even been known because they would have ended up somewhere else if we were really united, if you understand what I'm saying. We would have ran them out the country if we were really united like we should be. Though the police officers involved with that would be ran out of the country. You understand?
Yeah.
But we're not
Actually,
united.
they were actually they were Just like last time, when they killed George Floyd, the SWATs will surround the man's house to make sure you won't get in.
Mm-hmm.
They're protecting their own because they know they don't care.
Yep.
They,
Yep.
they don't care. See, so now since 2020 here, now you see how it is. Now you really see how it is. It's nothing new in the 19th century when Martin Luther King was there. They just hiding the
Mm-hmm.
whole, they're hiding so the years. They're hiding the whole goddamn time. So basically now, since 2021, 2022, 2023, they really been your enemies. Your so-called friends, your co-workers that you like, they actually want to unalive you like strange fruits. They really had that in their hearts the whole entire time. So, like you can't abhor your Edomite because thy brother, but I know, but I ain't gonna lie. But soon I knew this, I really start bearing grudges. Like I started looking at every single white folks as the damn enemy because anyone can frame you, anyone can take you, anyone can lie on you. And if you got money, like without selling your soul, without being in the industry, and they can literally put you in jail and make you pay them to get out. But the whole time they be robbing you. They just do it in their law and their system while putting a gun on you and wearing a hoodie and a mask
Oh, they took the mask off, brother. They started wearing ties and suits and lab coats and
and badges
and
and
badges.
badges.
Yeah, they took the they
And
took they don't do the mask
I
no
thought of
more.
this. And like say you won, you got a lotto and it's $50 million, 50 million. And instead of buying yourself a mansion, you buy yourself a regular house, like a $300 house, not $300,000 house, and it was good and perfect for you and your kids, because you don't need buy
Wrong,
you don't need
wrong.
15
Nope,
rooms.
nope. That's not the good route to go, brother.
And
If
I ain't
you
saying that.
gotta,
I ain't saying that. I ain't saying I ain't saying that like and they rob because of it. And you the first man that's humble and you give stuff and you don't only do like you give them some of the money you have to the poor and you give them food and you give them money and clothes and they start seeing your light.
here's my recommendation. If you came across a situation where you had a lot of money, the first thing I would tell you to do is leave America. That's the first thing I would tell you to do.
Mm,
Because the high cost of living in the United States, you'll end up spending all of that money on wealth and riches and things that will not benefit you whatsoever. You will
mm.
buy a Cadillac and put 36-inch rims on it. You understand? First,
Yeah.
leave America. Place yourself in a situation where you can build property for cheap. Buy a land in the Caribbean islands for $10,000. Buy a land in South America or Africa for $10,000. Build your own property for less than $100,000, so that way you're not paying 300 grand for some cheap piece of vinyl and plastic that they call a house. Here it is. You
Hmm.
could get you a whole brick house made with solid brick that will last for at least 2 centuries, as opposed to the vinyl plastic that they make in America and they call it houses. You can't make this stuff up, man. You got tornadoes that's going around flicking these houses all over the place. You need solid brick foundation houses that you could build that will last for years. The Bible says a wise man will build an inheritance for his children's children. So if you know the history of America, that whenever we try to establish something, that someone tried to tear it down, they put rivers and lakes over properties of black communities. They build airports over properties in black communities. They stole land and rioted, like the riots of the 1915s and the 1920s, Rosewood and Tulsa, Oklahoma. I would say take your money and go. Use wisdom. Build overseas. You see that this is not the land of milk and honey. Make your milk and honey somewhere else.
Mm. Yeah. 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 I definitely understand that. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll bring my family with me. I'll bring my family like just to move, like move out. You know, it's just I ain't gonna lie. I still have a job there just to keep me busy.
Yeah, of course. But it's just
Um,
my biblical based advice.
yeah, no, it's a great advice. It's a great advice. It's a great one. It's a great one, and I thank you for it, man.
Just my thoughts. Let me share a scripture because I want to back up with what I'm saying with the Bible. Sirach chapter 34, verse 9 says, "A man that has traveled knows many things, and he that has much experience will declare wisdom. He that has no experience knows little, but he that has traveled is full of prudence. When I traveled, I saw many things, and I understood stand more than I can express. I was oftentimes in danger of being unalive, yet I was delivered because of these things. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saves them." You see that? So God is going to preserve you no matter what situation that you're in. God is going to assist you in any situation that you're in. Travel around, experience different things. There's an old saying that says, "Don't put all your ducks in a row." So if you have an opportunity to travel to the motherland, go ahead and do it. If you have an opportunity to travel to the Caribbean islands, go ahead and do it. If you have an opportunity to go to South America, go ahead and do it. There's no reason for you to limit yourself by saying, well, I'm just going to stay in this geographical location called the United States. Travel around, visit different things, expand your horizon. I want to take the same route as Marcus Garvey, inspiring people to leave out of the U.S. and experience different things. Do good to the godly and help not the sinner. All right?
Oh, gotcha. Wait,
Raina,
the one that
go ahead.
says to help the godly and help the godly and not the sinner. Can you show me that scripture?
Sure. Let's go to Sirach chapter 12. We'll start at verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it. So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that gives no alms. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner. Do well unto him that is of a lowly heart, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou hast should have done unto him. For the Most High hates sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keeps him against the mighty day of their punishment. So God is telling us, look, don't help these folks that you see that are doing evil on the earth. Don't help these folks that's doing evil on the earth. Don't continue their kingdom, their empire. The best thing that you could do is withdraw all your money from their system and use it somewhere else to invest on your people and build somewhere else away from the guess what? I've been in Africa for almost 7 months. Do you know that I have not heard a single story of a mass pew pew situation going on? But when I look on the news in the United States, is going on a daily basis. The citizens here don't have access to weaponry like over there. You don't got to walk around with your pew pew on you, being afraid whether somebody's gonna rob you or do this, that, and the third. I don't have those concerns here. The worst thing I could think about encountering a police officer is him saying, "Hey, you can't pass through this unless you give me $20." And you bribe him and say, "Okay, here's a gift. Here's your little $20 US money. Let me go on my way." That's the worst thing I could think about. You understand?
Mm.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I should be concerned with when I'm driving all the way through Africa. But not in America. You drive in America and you scared that your tail light going out can end up with you losing your life. The hell is this? You went 5 past the speed limit, and all of a sudden you in an altercation with somebody. The hell is this?
Mm.
And this is happening to both non-melanated and melanated people. It ain't just us. It's everybody getting impacted. Yes, there's more stories about us that you see on the news, but I'm pretty sure there's non-melanated people getting impacted too. You see?
Mm. Yeah.
So the Bible says don't do anything for those that you see that are openly against God. But if you see people, your brothers, your sisters, that are trying to do their best to live godly, to live righteous, help them. Do good for them. Watch this. That same chapter 12, verse 10 says this. Never trust thy enemy. What does the Bible say? Never trust thy enemy. What does the Bible say? Never trust
Never
thine
trust
enemy.
thy enemy.
For like as iron rust, so is his wickedness. So imagine you had a car and you left the car outside, right? And it's been raining for decades, right? What's going to happen to that shiny metal car? It looks beautiful on the outset, but then once that rain hits over it, then you can see the rust.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with the wickedness of America. A lot of people, they think America is all shiny like a brand new car. It looks nice. You can go and get a good job, start your career, make hundreds of thousands of dollars. It looks shiny, but once that rain hits it, then you see, oh yeah, this place right here got a lot of rust. That's the same comparison with the wickedness. Though he humbles himself, this is verse 11, though he humbles himself and goes crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust, meaning his wickedness, has not been altogether wiped away. You see that?
Mm.
So these nations, they could humble themselves. They could say, oh, I'm sorry for what happened to you. Let's sit at the table and let's find peace. They crouch themselves and humble themselves, and let's find a way to reconcile relations on the earth, and let's be friends. No, I ain't with that kumbaya stuff. Get out of my face. Let me go somewhere else. Let me save my money and leave from away. Because guess what? As soon as they have an opportunity to do it again, they will do it again. As soon as they have an opportunity to betray, they will betray. The government, how many times the government has betrayed the people? And we still fall for it. We still fall for it. Every day, they feed us lies through the media. They feed us lies through their politicians, and we still fall for it. Nope. At this point, get your money and go.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's not saying
Yeah.
everybody is a snake, but if I see 10,000 snakes and one snake is nice to me, that
I
there's
don't
no
care.
guarantee that if I go to the cookout that the snakes ain't gonna bite me.
Yes. One bite from that snake, you get that venom on you, you dead.
Yeah. So who would pity a charmer if he's bit by a serpent? Nobody's gonna pity you. If you get bit by a snake, somebody gonna say, you dumbass, didn't you see it was a snake? Didn't you realize it was a snake? You took the snake and you said that the snake was your friend, and you petted it and you fed it. You made sure that you took care of the snake, and then one day the snake grew up and said, I'm a snake, I'm gonna bite you. Nobody's gonna pity you. That's the
Yeah.
same way if you go to a sinner, those that's full of sin, and you're defiled with their sins. You see they're openly against God and openly against the Bible, but you want to hang out with them. And no, that's why the Bible says, come out from among them and be separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. And I will receive you like a father receives sons and daughters. That's what the Bible says. Come out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. Plagues are coming to Babylon, y'all. Plagues are coming. You didn't see recently a whole string of tornadoes just came through from Texas all the way to Iowa, all the way to Ohio.
I
Babies
think I
getting
see.
sucked out of the window, flung
Um.
miles ahead. You didn't see
Dang.
that recently?
Uh. No, I didn't see that.
This was just like 2 weeks ago. There was a string of tornadoes. Look it up on the news. There was a string of tornadoes from Texas, all 81 tornadoes in one night. You see that? Wow.
81 tornadoes.
81. You don't see God is trying to judge this place? You right on that.
Wait,
Roosters
wait.
came to roost, baby.
Wait. Tornadoes. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Tornadoes. That did it represents the Toph and the Alpha Toph?
Guess what? It's in the Bible, bro. It's in the Bible. Watch this. Let's go to it real quick. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. It says, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and tempest, and tempest. Tempest
What's
is a
Tempest
tornado,
mean?
y'all. Tempest is a tornado. That's like a hurricane, a cyclone, a typhoon. It's a tornado. It's a horrendous storm that brings hail, that brings wind, that brings thunder and lightning. It's right there in the Bible. But they're going to call it climate change.
Radioactive pain.
It's in the book. It's right there. So I always
That's
encourage
wild,
people
man.
to make sure they get right with the creator, because they say, oh, what's the proof that the Bible is a real book? If you saw something that was predicted hundreds of thousands of years before it took place, and then you're reading out of the Bible that God is going to send tornadoes, and you see in one night over 80 tornadoes, that's you're not going to say that's normal. That's not normal. That means somebody mad and he's sending the tornadoes down for some reason. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Places where there never was earthquakes before, like New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Philadelphia, are experiencing earthquakes. This is God sending divine retribution. They want to unalive our people. They want to mistreat God's people. What's going to happen? You're going to have hailstorms the size of people's fists. You're going to have earthquakes hitting different places. You're going to have wars and commotions coming to resolve the issue of war that they have. There's no statute of limitations on war crimes with God. So he says, I'm going to repay. You just got to look at the signs. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
I'm glad you showed me that scripture.
All praises to the Most High.
All praises, man.
Yep. So I get comfort by these things because that tells me God is a God of war. He's a God of justice. And he sees what's happening to his children. And he's not just sitting idly by watching. Nope. He's going to repay. Apparently going to storm DC sometime too. That's interesting.
I think Christ probably gonna bow his fist at the throne.
Say that again.
I bet Christ bowing his fist at the throne. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, definitely. Somebody said it always happens around right before election time. Wow, that's crazy. So it's very, very important for us to understand that there are divine circumstances that intervene in the affairs of men. God is a just God. He's not going to allow negativity to transpire on the earth and not repay. You see stories and incidents where innocent human beings are being mistreated, and then during that same time frame, you see 81 tornadoes in one day, one night, stretching across several states. Mind you, right after a significant solar eclipse that occurred that had prophetic implications too. So right after that right after that solar eclipse, now all of a sudden you're seeing a string of tornadoes happening, over 80 in one time. And this kind of parallels to back in 2011 where there was like 200 tornadoes in just 2 days. I don't know if y'all remember that story, but back in 2011 there was over 200 tornadoes from Oklahoma all the way to, I think it was almost the borders of West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. But I know it crossed like towards the Appalachian region. So from Oklahoma all the way to the Appalachian region, you had a string of tornadoes, over 200. So this Bible is nothing to play with, folks. The God of the Bible is real. And he is the God of Israel. He is the God of the Israelites, period. So he's going to save his people, and those that live in wickedness are going to receive just recompense.
Hey man, I finna step down real quick. My phone finna die.
Appreciate your thoughts on the subject, brother.
Yeah, and thank you for the scriptures, man.
All right, shalom. Brother Rainer, I see you've been quiet for a little bit. You got any thoughts?
Oh yeah, I've been quiet for a little bit. I just was listening to you.
Okay, all praises. I'm going to send a couple of invites to people in the audience that are listening in. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the subject of what we're going over in regards to the young man that was unalived by the police officers. My question for those listening is, if this was your relative, your son, or your daughter, or your brother, or your cousin, how would you respond? How would you feel about that? If this was your son, your daughter, your cousin, your nephew, how would you respond to that? So I'm going to send a couple of invites to those that are in the audience. You want me to read Psalms chapter 2, verse 12? Sure. Let's take a look at Psalms chapter 2, verse 12. I agree with you. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool to see these things happening in a free and just society. Let's read Psalms chapter 2, verse 12. Well, the Bible always has solutions that we can look to. Psalms chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him." So yeah, that's right. We put our trust in the Son of God. We put our trust in the Most High, in Christ. We put our trust in the words of these scriptures to give us guidance in these last days. You know what's up, GTG, though, keep preaching. Okay, all praises. God bless Israel. The gun was pointed down in the video I saw. Okay. All right. No problem. So it's pointed down, but the person was still injured and the video you saw. So did the person go to the hospital? Did the person get unalive? Apparently, yes. So the question is, if this was your son or your daughter or your brother or your cousin, or maybe, God forbid, yourself, how would you respond to that? Is this something that we should allow in a free and just society? Or should we acknowledge that these things that are going on are not right instead of trying to justify it? Because no citizen of a free world should be unalived by a government agent, a government employee. No one. I don't care what nationality you're from. I don't care what cultural background you're from. No one should be able to justify wickedness. Okay? Correct. It is rampant in all the states. I remember watching a video of a Native American brother that was in a hotel, and the brother was so light skinned he could pass off for a red person, you know. And the police officer said to him, with an assault, pew pew, he said, "Get on the ground, face down." So the guy complied. He complied with the order. Police officer said, "Get up and come towards me." The brother started to get up. He said, not fully, don't get up completely, on your hands and knees. So while the guy was crawling towards him on his hands and knees like a little lost puppy, crying with tears in his eyes, the police officer said, "Stop right there, put your hands on your head." And he's like, I'm lost. I don't understand what you want me to do. Do you want me to put my hands on my head or do you want me to crawl towards you? He's like, stop what you're doing. Put your hands on your head. So then he said, don't move, don't move, don't move. I said, don't move, don't move. And all of a sudden he goes, pew, 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 pew. And this was inside a hotel with several different people. That officer only got charged because some of his armaments went into the walls of the building. He didn't get charged for the act of unaliving that person. He got charged with reckless, what was it called? Reckless endangerment or something like that, and destruction of property, something like that. And this was a Native American person that could pass for a white You understand? So that's what I'm saying. This is not isolated to just melanated people. This is impacting all citizens of the quote unquote free world. We need to acknowledge these things and say, look, either you're going to stack up your chips and leave this negative environment, or you're going to continue to allow yourself to be that frog that's boiling in the pot of fire, not realizing that this is going to impact you eventually. But I'm sorry, I talk too much. Go ahead, Raina. What's your thoughts on it? You've been a little quiet, Raina. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Oh, let me unmute my mic. Oh, yeah, I see what you were saying. Yeah, this thing been impacting people all over the world. I mean, in certain countries, especially the United States, is their system. It does not happen in Canada. You know that, right? I never really see a report of too much of these things going on in Canada or the UK. It does not really happen in Australia, stuff like that. It just happened here. Like you say, we underneath the Roman system, and that's what it is. And everybody always want to come here and say this is the greatest country, but that they don't realize where they come until and think and and start experience these things. You understand? There was a black guy in Atlanta walking around looking at some construction. It was amazing to him, like, oh, they're building up the neighborhood. Let me walk in this neighborhood and look at these houses. He went in the house, the neighbors videotaping him, trail him, and they unalive him. Remember that one?
Yeah, I think his name was it was in Georgia, correct?
Yeah, it was in Georgia, yeah. And all he was doing is just looking at fresh construction. He wasn't stealing anything. He was just amazed because he from a different country. He probably like, wow, this look good. He didn't even know that was the last day he would have lived on this earth. There was just like 3 weeks ago, there was a little boy somewhere in Pennsylvania. He new to this country and he had some friends. They knock on the door. Did you see that one? Knock on the door, call him out, and unalive him.
Yeah, it
Did
was
you?
recently on TikTok, right?
Right. Not the news, the news. Yeah, they call him out. I'm just saying, you live in certain areas, and they teenagers too. You know what I mean? They're all teenagers, but he was just a different. He was melanated, and he live amongst them, and he go to school amongst them. He home. They knock on the door and call him out, and that was the last day of him. There was a couple years ago in Texas, this guy named Bird. I remember this quite well. I think they chained him up
Yeah,
and
James Bird.
and pull him apart by a vehicle, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's here in East Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I'm just saying you got to be careful where you go, and if you can sense danger, try to run as fast as you can because this kid was home and he tried to make friends. He wasn't bothering nobody. He was home. They knock on the door, call him out. There wasn't the police. There was just it can't be no curiosity because he go to school with them, but it had to be planned. It must be a plan for you to call somebody out their home and then you take them somewhere and do that to them. You know what I mean? Some stuff was I put it this way. I think forefront. You might can give me more insight on this. I don't know if Cain and Abel was the same. They was brother. I don't know if there was one was black or one was white. But Cain, one of them, Cain that killed Abel, he didn't please with his brother and the offering that he gave to God. And then he did that to his own brother. So it reminds me of something like that.
That's a good, very good, excellent parallel because that does coincide with many texts also in the New Testament that makes mention of how we should love one another, brother towards brother. That we shouldn't have that same spirit of Cain, who had jealousy or envy towards his brother and hated his brother, because the Bible says, "If you hate your brother, you're a murderer," and we know that no murderer has eternal life in them. So it's very insightful what you said because that's a very good comparison. So don't let anybody deceive you. Someone that loves you will always want the best for you. Okay. And we need to operate in a society where there's more love and appreciation for one another, where we don't have this hatred festering where people want to unalive and delete each other. But what I see in, like, for me, the writing's already on the wall. Get your chips, stack your chips, go somewhere else, outside of Babylon, outside of America, where you can have some safety. It doesn't matter if it's Portugal. It doesn't matter if it's the Caribbean islands. It doesn't matter if it's South America. Get up and go. Do something, because I've already covered these stories for almost well over a decade. And literally, there's an article on Wikipedia where you can see the amount of mass shootings happening, and it's at least 5 per day, at least. Okay. Forensic, welcome to the Forefront Radio, sister. What's your thoughts or comment?
Hey,
Question or
brother,
comment?
and thank you for having me on your live, and thank you to everyone on the panel who stands up and speaks out, even when it's hard. On this app, I received this week 62 unaliving threats because of my stances on this and my stances on the freedom of people in other parts of the world who are being oppressed. It's definitely a colorized issue, and now thank God that what's going on these college campuses, whether we agree with them or I agree with them, but some people may not. What kids are now seeing, regardless of color, is exactly how people of color have been treated in this country for centuries. And it's now prompting people to go back and listen to people like Malcolm X, who, can you imagine what he felt? Can you imagine what MLK felt, knowing that they knew they were going to be unalive likely for their views. But now these kids who may not have read this history, what's happening that is precious in this country is that now kids who may not have cared about what's going on in this live right now are looking at it saying this has been going on the whole time. It didn't really drive it home until they were being dragged off of college campuses, even if they were peaceful, to see what people have gone through. This incident itself is not only atrocious, but you ever notice the lack of coverage on these issues? I mean, the lack of coverage, yes, they'll get one here and there that they really cover, but to your point, it's going on every single day, and we're just floating around in this stupor of people being angry with one another, which another thing that the campuses have done is a lot of people are becoming united on the issue, and that's what needed to happen. But these are your fellow humans. I don't care if you're wearing a badge or you're not. Obviously, from a legal standpoint, I would tell my clients or anyone else, don't you dare speak with an officer, because if they're asking you questions, they already have reason to believe you may have done something. Consult an attorney, even if they threaten to tow your car, because when you mention attorney, it changes the game, even with the colorization, because they know that you know your rights. Let them tow your car. Let them do what they're going to do, because at the end of the day, you're more vulnerable to them when you speak to them, because then they turn your words around and use
Sure,
them
after,
against you.
please.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
please be patient. I have Catalyst that's on next, and then after that, you'll be able to come on.
I
Go
was
ahead, finish your statement.
patient. That's why I asked, may I?
But that was
Yeah,
why
hold on a second.
that's why, this cause, you guys keeping this in the forefront on TikTok, on your radio shows, on your podcasts, don't let this case die, because the problem is, in America, we get like all these causes or whatever, and we're bombarded every day. But when you keep his face on TikTok, you're keeping him alive, you're giving him a voice, and you are letting people know what is still going on in this country all these years later. Like, this is an atrocity, and there's a reason the media filters all this stuff out at us all the time. The media itself is racially biased. Even if they say, oh, we're equal, they're not. If they were equal, this would be on the news every single day until it was brought to fruition and the people who were responsible were made to pay for their actions. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Much appreciated. Catalyst, what's your thoughts on the subject? Or if you have any questions, please
Yeah,
share.
yeah, man. I got a lot of thoughts on it. Let me first say this: that you know, all of these horrible things that are happening in American culture are our fault. And when I say our fault, I mean our fault in terms of the electorate and the citizenry. It's our fault because we're not engaged. We don't participate. We don't vote. We don't attend city council meetings. We don't attend, we just half-ass vote. We half-ass participate. And then we say all the time, well, government is broken. We are the government. We are. It is our responsibility to hold all of these entities accountable. The media, our elected officials. It is our responsibility to go and use these tools to organize. Instead of us using these platforms like TikTok and social media to organize and educate people to become activists, to accept our responsibility as citizens to be activists, what do? We just come on here and bitch and moan and have conversations and talk about it. This is worthless if we don't turn this conversation and this consciousness into consistent action. And that's the biggest thing that upsets me about all of these things. When these things happen, they happen all the time. We're always talking about it. Tomorrow, there'll be another one and we'll be talking about it. But where's the police reform? We were all up in arms with Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd about police reform. We got no police reform out of it. Nothing has changed. We're having the exact same conversations. Why? Because people half-ass engage. They get upset on the weekend and then they go back to doing nothing. So the answer is got to be commitment to activism until we get something done. Dr. King, Malcolm, the civil rights icons that we talk about, those people did not live to see the fruit of their labor. And we have to understand that we might not live to see the fruit of our labor. But if we don't put in the work now, future generations will be suffering even worse than us because right now we're doing nothing. We're going backwards. We've lost affirmative action. We've lost certain aspects of the voting rights. We've lost Roe versus Wade. We are losing our rights right in front of our face. And instead of people getting together and again, using these tools to say, hey, how do we galvanize each other to accept our responsibilities as citizens, to participate? We got people talking about leaving the country. We got people talking about not voting. We got people talking about not participating. How the hell is that going to work for us? Do you think they're on the right saying, hey, we're not going to vote? They're getting elected to mayor's offices and governorships and state houses, and then they're passing more egregious, horrible, racist laws. And we're on the sideline talking about we're not going to vote. How stupid is that of us? I'm not leaving. I'm going to build a life. I'm going to work to make things better where I am. You think they've got racism in Portugal and other parts of the world? Come on, wake up. Leaving is not the answer. The answer is fighting for what's right. Evil doesn't succeed because bad people do bad things. Evil succeeds because good people do nothing. And so if you're listening, if people are in here, and if you give a shit, that's the other part. If you really give a shit, then you need to ask yourself, am I doing what I can do to be an activist where I live? Am I working with other people who care about this shit? Have I even looked for organizations? Am I involved? Do I participate? Could I do better? Because I guarantee you the answer to that will be yes, I can do better. So let's do that. And also, second piece, let's use better sense. Okay? Sense is not common. Sense has to be learned. We use good sense or we use bad sense. And it's bad sense for you to answer your freaking door with a weapon in your hand. That's just ridiculous. I'm in Texas. I got weapons in my house. I don't answer my door with weapons in my hand. That's just ridiculous. I don't understand what type of life you living that you feel like you got to answer your door with a gun. And specifically when the police or the guy's like, hey, it's sheriff's office. So you go to answer your door, you hear knocking at the door, you don't know what it is, you feel like I'm gonna get my gun, and then they say sheriff's office. You don't think, oh shit, let me put this down. Because if I open this door, the sheriff sees this weapon, he might do some stupid shit.
So hold
Police.
on a second. Before you continue, brother, I really want you to consider that the brother is not here to speak on his thoughts, what was going through his mind. So he can't defend himself on that matter and what was going through his mind exactly. We don't know if that brother previously been robbed before through people coming and showing up at his doorstep unannounced. We don't know if he had issues in the community dealing with people that had some sort of beef with him. So we want to be very mindful on speaking on the dead. So, but go ahead and finish your statement, and I'll give a
Bruh,
quick response, and then Lady D will come up after.
bruh, I am mindful. And I can say with on my chest, that's stupid. That's stupid. That doesn't make good sense. It doesn't matter what any of the things that you might have just said in all of the circumstances. You don't answer your door with a weapon. And you damn sure don't open the door with a weapon when the police are out there. So, I mean, it just makes no sense that we're going to sit here and entertain that, oh, we don't know why. It doesn't matter why. We got to use better sense when we engage with the police. We know we don't have equal footing. We know we're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. So we can't engage with law enforcement and give them any excuse because we will get murked for no reason. So if you give them any kind of reason, it's a wrap. And if we know this, why would we do it? If we know these things, why do we validate negative stereotypes? If we know these things, why do we consistently do stupid shit? Because we're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. So those are my two issues. We need to be advocates and we need to use better sense when we're out here engaging because we know we're not going to get the benefit of the doubt and you're going to wind up a statistic if you slip up. Those are my 2 points.
All right, here's my comment on it. So now I agree with you. Be the agent of change that you so desire. If you want change in your community, you want to make sure you make every effort to make changes that are going to be substantial for the people. However, biblically speaking, we want to make sure we align our thought process with divine statements. Watch this. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17 says this: As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Meaning, whether you go Democrat or Republican, it can't save you. Whether you go vote or if you're apolitical, that won't save you. Remember, we live in a society where, as the descendants of enslavement, we still have to fight for the right just to vote. But it was consumer rights, not civil rights. We were fighting for just to be able to sit at the table with other folks. You understand? When we established our own society, our own culture, our own principles, our own airports, our own everything, what happened? They came and bombed it. They came and burned it to the ground. So what we're doing by saying let's go and vote, we're repeating the same cycles our ancestors did. Some of us don't even know that the Civil Rights Act, the Congress has to go back every 20, 30 years to go back and vote if they want to give you the right to vote. The next time that they have to discuss it, I believe, is either 2034 or 2035, where they have to discuss whether they want to give us the right to vote. I've already seen the writing on the table. It's going to be a repetitive cycle of trying to fight for some sort of system of injustice. So now I come from the descendants that fought against the bullies. My ancestors lived in the island of Haiti. We didn't have any Abraham Lincoln. We didn't have any Voters Registration Act. None of that stuff to try to assist us. We didn't have any welfare state. It was knuckle and fist, machete and rope, and torches. That's how we got freedom. And we assisted all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora in other places like South America, in Savannah, Georgia, in Chicago, to fight for them for their freedom as well, so that way they could stand up. You got two ways to deal with a bully. You either attack the bully head on, You cut off the bully's head, or you allow the bully to keep messing with you. One or the other. So now, we've tried the Black Panther route. That doesn't work. They unalived all the leaders. We tried the Malcolm X route. We tried the nonviolent MLK route. They unalived all your leaders. The next thing now is to follow what the Bible says, which is this. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Come out of her, my people, my people, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Plagues are coming to America according to the
I'm
Bible.
sorry, forefront. I'm glad you're doing this on the Sabbath. All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I gotta line it up with the Bible. You understand? I line everything that I see going on in society with the scriptures
Me
because
just
I
do that.
gotta see things through divine perspective. But go ahead, Lady G. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
I was going. I was getting ready to go back and mute and let you go.
so we tried the political route. We tried voting. We tried using education to stand as a model to say maybe if we were better education we can get a PhD. We can build up the society, and they're just using us as batteries. You are batteries that fuel the system continually. When you look at the black woman that made the movie The Matrix, you are Neo. Neo represents Jesus Christ, the chosen ones. You are the chosen ones. Neo saw the Matrix for what it was. The movie Matrix and the movie Terminator was about your plight in this country. You see the reality of how America works. You have to fight against the machine. If you choose not to fight against the machine, take the route of leaving away from the machine so that way your savior can deal with the machine as it is.
Not to take it there, but even if you look at the man with the mustache, I can't say his name up here, and what he said about the Negro Jews and apply it to history and what actually happened during World War and everything. Like you can see the truth of the beast and everything. Like they were saying, like that other lady was saying, no disrespect to her, well, a little bit. But you sitting here talking experience.
Hey, be nice, sis. Be nice. Be
No,
nice. Go ahead.
everybody doesn't believe
But
what
you
y'all
know what I
believe.
mean? Like you sitting here telling us our experiences with ways that we know don't work. But if I were to turn around and explain, like a little discrepancy. Okay, well, I feel like this is also microaggressive. So if you wouldn't do this and that and the third, then you'll be quick to da 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 da. They think our only problem is police brutality. They think that the only thing that we suffer is, we can't open our doors or we're scared to come outside. We're not scared. We're just tired. You know what I mean? So it's you to sit here and speak on certain issues that a lot of our own people don't even understand how to come to terms with. I know exactly what you're talking about, Haiti, because if you know about that statue of Buju Bookman in Haiti, you know what I mean? We were like that, but we didn't try to go around helping everybody how Haiti did. Haiti was, they're very our people kind of people, and that's the mentality. Because me and my friend from Bahamas, we were just talking about that. We were like, boy, the Mexicans and the Haitians, they'll come to Florida and pack up in a house 12 people. They'll be driving one Toyota Corolla, and whoever leave the house first, that's the breadwinner.
That's facts.
Help everybody else. But when you look each other around, half of Miami Haitian and Spanish right now.
That's right.
My
That's
friend was
right.
like,
That's
when the
right.
Haitians come, they come in to take off. I was like, Lord, you know that's true. You know? Like it's certain things that you have to be willing to take up for yourself. You have to be able to stand for yourself. And that's what a lot of people here in the Western, society of the US don't want to do. Not even just black people, all minorities. A lot of you all look up to massa so much that you neglect you don't want equality. You want for yourself to be accepted, because if they say you're special, come take this privilege, you leave the rest of everyone behind. And that's the issue. They know they can play you all against each other. Y'all don't give a damn about each other. Y'all don't give a damn what goes on in the Caribbean, even though y'all tell Caribbean people, like, I get mad, me and my homegirls, the same Bahamian was just talking about it last night. Y'all tell Haitians go back to Haiti as if y'all welfare is not funded by the gold that was stolen from their island. Let's clock it. Citibank, the one
Facts.
who
It's
invested
true.
to y'all government that y'all saying let's get into, so them people don't care about you. They just looking for another way to rob us. Then when we come over here, y'all go tell us why we here, as if y'all not over there stealing our resources. You're not legally, you're helping the government create an environment that's unlivable for us. And then when we come here, you wanna be in so much proximity to master. Is go back and you talk funny, you smell weird, da 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 da. Da. You're not master. You just want the privileges of him, and you're not gonna get that. Not unless you
So how
band
do we
together
fix it?
and love yourself.
How do we fix it? Because we know what the issue is. How do we fix it?
We're gonna do like the Bible have to say and cut off 2/3. They gone. You gotta cut off 2/3 and move forward with the ones that have sense, because it's never gonna change. They love massa too much. We were just talking last night. We were like, a lot of these men who
What does that
bash black,
mean?
a lot of these men who bash black women and be
You're
like,
giving examples, but you're not what solution.
so if I'm giving examples, okay,
I don't need. We don't need
you
to
just
keep
heard me what I
identifying and
said. I
giving
said they gotta
analogies.
get
We
cut
need
off.
solutions.
They gotta get cut off. We done. We through with y'all. All y'all that want to be in the government and in the white man face, go be there. That's it. There's nothing else we could say to y'all. Y'all gonna ruin the mission. Like with Marcus Garvey, I'm Jamaican. Marcus Garvey got the Ku Klux to fund y'all tickets back to Africa, and it was a black American who infiltrated, because they weren't allowed to be in the meetings, who infiltrated and went to be a spy. Sometimes them people too far gone to take with you. You gotta free, do what Harriet Tubman said. I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. A lot of them don't know they slaves, so they gotta stay. That's my point.
But you ain't give no solution.
That is the solution.
So how are we supposed to? That's
Are
radical.
you slow? Like,
How you supposed to implement that?
It's okay. Let me clarify for the sister, because maybe the brother may not
No, I
understand.
understand. I'm saying, how do you
So
go implement something like that? That is incredibly divisive.
here's what it is. The Bible says, "Come out from among them and be separate." Be separate. What does it mean to be separate?
Leave.
so
Can I say something? I'm
Yeah,
just
go ahead, Raina.
I just want to say that like my brother was say kettleless. He was like, you don't answer the door with a gun in your hand. Common sense, it doesn't do that. But at the same token, under our oppression system, if you driving down the street and you have insurance registration on your car and you have a license to carry a firearm underneath the constitutional right, and when you get pulled over and you present that you have that license to bear arm, you still get killed. How about that? This, oh, he got a weapon, pow, pow, pow. But he didn't point it at you. He didn't point the weapon at you. He just have it in his possession and he told you about it and you still get unalive. How about that? These are the stuff that never gonna change. They always kill the leaders. They tell you, listen, I seen a video in Texas where somebody have the legal right to carry open arms and the color of his skin, he was pulled over and was like, what you doing with that? But at the same token, the person who make the law by the governor and the whole state know that you can carry open arms in the state of Texas. And when the black man do it, he still get harassed. So how he gonna live in this country? Like you said, come out this country. How you gonna live in this country with the right and you still does not have a right?
I wanted Catalyst to respond to that. Catalyst disappeared. What
I
happened,
wanted
brother?
him to respond too, because that's where I was kind of going to, where you were going for. He got me like, if you look in the book of Obadiah, like they was gonna act like they're the eagle amongst the stars, like the eagle in the Star Scandal Banner. They're gonna try to make us small amongst the nations. It's not even the fact that they don't want to progress. They want us to be beneath them because they already know, like the man with the mustache said, for if the Negroes know who they are, their plot to world domination will not work. We not supposed to know who we are. We not supposed to vote. I don't know what he talking about. It's black people in the government. They not on our side. They
He
don't
he
like us.
he need to come back and answer it because I'm asking the question, how you get the right to bear arms in the state of Texas without permit, and when you do walk around open arm, you get pulled over and it's your constitutional right, but you still get punished for that. Or how comes you have your permit to carry and drive and you have a license to carry it in your car, and when you do present your documents, because there is evidence where somebody was licensed to carry a firearm and he presented and his baby mom was in the car and his kid was in the car and he still get unalive. Y'all remember that?
Right.
Can I explain why that happens to him?
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Dexter.
Okay, let me explain it. The reason why that happens is because it's another law that exists that they never talk about, and it supersedes all of these new laws, the civil rights laws, and all of those laws. It's called the Dred Scott Law. And that law states that there is no black woman or black man in the United States of America that has rights that a white man is bound to respect.
Say white tea, say white tea or red
White tea.
lobster.
Oh, okay, white
Yes,
tea.
because you know TikTok got sensitive community guidelines. So say red lobster, Krabby Patty. Don't say that
Okay,
other
cool. This
term.
this this the first time I ever got on one of these lives. I've been
Welcome to the
listening to it.
Forefront Radio. I appreciate you.
Yeah, this is the first time I've chimed in. But yeah, it's that Dred Scott case. And even though they don't talk about it, most of law enforcement, and we already know how they originated, they live by that law, whether you know it or not. So you walking around here thinking that you got some rights, and you don't. You really don't. What you are is a consumer, and they use MLK to set all of that up. And right when he changed his mind and made a statement that he think he even integrated his people into a burning house, and we need a check, he got a bullet.
Can I ask you a question? I thought the Constitution state that every man have a right to live and be freed as a man in the United States, something like that. Bible.
Okay. Listen, brother. When they created that Constitution, they created it by stealing those words from your ancestors. And then they created that Constitution, and they wrote in that Constitution that you are not even human, right? And that they can do whatever they want to you. And then later on down the line, they decided because of economics and they couldn't, it was untenable to treat you the way they were treating you and be able to control you and program you at the same time. They had to give in a little to get a lot. So uh, they put us all in a big trick bag. And I heard a guy earlier saying, "What's the answer to all of this? What do we do? What do we do? We hear all these problems." Well, the answer to your question is unity, group economics, creating your own systems, and protecting yourself. And we already did it before. We did it a lot of times. We did it like 10 years after slavery. Black people came out of slavery and created prosperous towns all over this country. You don't know nothing about it because they murdered all those people, burnt the towns down, looted them. Some of them they put
Unalive,
underneath,
unalive.
Live.
Okay, they unalived them and put most of the towns underneath lakes that are still there now. And
Please, after he's done.
they allowed you to bring back
Be patient,
everything
sis. Let outside
that they
TV come
destroyed.
on, and then you come back.
They after they destroyed everything and allowed you to bring back some things, because even after they destroyed Oklahoma City, if you find out about it, they rebuilt that stuff. But what they didn't allow black people to bring back was group economics. Back in those times, a dollar used to stay in our neighborhood 35, 45 days before it left. Now a dollar stay in our neighborhood 35 seconds. I'm done.
So biblically, like what Forefront is
Hold,
saying,
hold,
is basically
hold on a
leave.
second. Hold on a second, Raina. Outside TV. What's your thoughts? Outside TV. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment? Outside TV. Welcome to
Hey
the
man,
Forefront Radio.
I soon get in. I soon give you my thoughts on it, man. I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Raina, and
So,
then Daily.
so
Delay.
what I was saying, like the brother that came up before, like he said, what is a solution? There is no solution. The best thing we all can do, like what Forefront said, biblically, is leave, because it's not gonna be no changes. There is no changes gonna happen because it's been going on for generation and hundreds of years. The same thing keep repeating itself. We're living in the same cycle. That's all I have to say about it.
What I was saying was
Okay.
that's
All right.
where the issue with what you're talking about is Those communities tried to be exclusive. They weren't worried about the black people down in Florida. They weren't worried about the black people up in Louisiana. They were an exclusive elite community. That's why it was easier to take them down. You already know white collared men, they're not like, it was a Wall Street. White collared men, they're not down to get down and dirty like a blue collared man and this and that and the third. So it was a certain
YT
type.
sis, YT, say YT. You know they got
No,
censorship
no,
bureau that's
the collar like the shirt, white
yeah.
collar like the job.
Got you. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? So it was a certain type of person around that area. And I'm not saying that they didn't have the strength to fight back against something like that and this and that and the third. But the community and the environment they crippled themselves with, like they separated themselves from other blacks. They were trying to make their community elite. They segregated themselves to the point where they were weak in numbers. They were weak.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Can
And
I
it was,
respond to that a little bit?
wait, hold on. I'm
Oh,
not
you're
done.
sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, what I'm saying is the only effective thing with, like, I understand building these communities and keeping the dollar. You're trying to keep a dollar that don't belong to you in a community. You know, what's due to Caesar, give to Caesar. The problem was they segregated themselves. If they had said, okay, we're going to go do this, make progression for every black area and da 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 da, maybe that would have worked. They would have had strength in numbers, but they tried to make themselves elite, exclusive, and this and that and the third. And that was their downfall, if you see what I'm saying. That segregation that they did to themselves. Also, to Rain, what you were saying is to leave. Our only thing is to leave, and this and that and the third. But if you actually take it back to biblically, Obadiah 1 says, no, we have to fight. You have to fight for your rights, and not no marching and protesting and Martin Luther King like the other lady was talking about. I don't know why they love that man so much. They love that man so much because he like the YT woman. That's why they love that man so much. I'm a Malcolm X girl. Fight back. Like, hey, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Like, listen, and like in Jamaica, like that's what we were saying. I'm sorry, the black woman in America has received no protection. Because me and my Bahamian homegirl was talking about it. Like, you go back home, or you touch my purse, all I gotta do is yell out thief, and a crowd gonna deal with you. I'm telling you. A crowd gonna deal with you here. We'll watch, we'll record. Even with the George Floyd situation, nobody helped. Y'all say, oh my God, this black man, she got on the news, this and that, and there. Why didn't you help him? Like, it's 100 of y'all and one man. Yeah, he got a pew pew. But if two of y'all disarm him, five of y'all, you know, holding his hands, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, y'all just stood there. Like, what? Like, that's the issue. Y'all don't like each other. They don't people on that Black Wall Street. They're too busy trying to be better than other black people, and that was their downfall. They were trying to segregate themselves, make themselves elite, put themselves on, and that's what was their downfall. We need each other, and y'all don't seem to understand that.
I agree with you, but I'm not sure whether or not they thought they were elites or what the situation may be, because I don't know
So
how
Black
they
Wall
I
Street,
don't know how they can
you were trying to make
communicate
yourself
it.
an elite community.
Hold on,
No, no.
sis. Hold on.
What I'm
Lady
saying
G,
is,
don't interrupt when you speak. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead,
I don't
Dexter.
know. I don't know how they communicated back then and how easy it was for black people to even travel. Because from my understanding, even back in the 50s and the 40s and the 60s, black people couldn't even stop as when they were going somewhere in the United States. They couldn't stop unless they were stopping in black towns, because if they stopped in a white town, they might end up being unalived. So I'm not sure what their mentality was. All I know is that people that were enslaved for hundreds of years came out of slavery in 10 years after being in slavery, not being able to learn, read. They actually were able to create towns that were better than the YT towns around them, and that created envy and jealousy, and they destroyed and looted those towns and then murdered everybody and then erased the history so that we couldn't get the blueprint to basically mimic it, because that's what humans do. We mimic each other. I'm done.
All right. Hold on,
That's
Lady
what I
D.
was saying.
Lady D. Hold on. James Bay, what's your question or comment on the topic? James Bay, welcome to the Forefront Radio. What's your question or comment on the topic? Mute your mic, Dexter. I want to allow another guest to speak.
Okay, hold on
James
one
Bay.
second.
Yes, can you
James
hear
Bay,
me?
welcome. How you doing?
How's everybody doing?
Doing well, doing well. What's
Great.
your thoughts on the topic?
My thoughts on the topic is first, condolences to the family that happened to. Um, Stop trying to assimilate at a certain level, far as expecting more out of them. They only know how to be what they are. So pretty much, don't even like that particular situation because I'm looking at the screen. That's kind of like what attracted me to the situation. Stop even answering doors like that. We are not on the same level. I would say that we are higher. We are a threat. So being that we are a threat, just do your own thing and do it at the highest. I understand he was a student plus the airmen and everything, but that has happened time and time again, the same situation over and over. Don't even answer the doors. If you talk to a lawyer, your lawyer even would tell you, do not even answer a door for them. They are dangerous. They're a fraternal order. And it's more than one fraternal order, but that's one fraternal order that they're in. Stop answering doors. You can't trust them like that. They are killers. Matter of fact, you can't even be smart and be a police officer nowadays. You have to have a certain IQ. If it's too high, they can't even hire you. So that means you got killers on the force. Well, not killers, unalivers on the force. And that's it. That's my take.
Appreciate you sharing your thoughts on it. Outside TV, it's back to you. What's your question or comment?
I think we gotta do what the Bible said, man, and just leave, man. It's bad, it's really bad. I actually had to run from there. When you're too smart, if you're like Neo, the agent is gonna come after you. It's just that simple. I think the Bible already have the answer, which is our land. Where our land is, we should go back there. Because it's not going to be any peace and they're not going to, but we're not supposed to have anything there. That's what they said. We were originally came there to be slave or nothing more. And they're going to fight you if you try to rise with everything they got. So I think the answer is leave while they can. That's it, man.
Appreciate you sharing your thoughts. That's a good thought that you have. Let me make a comment on this thought, and then the Lady G will come back to you. In Hosea chapter 5, verse 15, it says, I will go and return to my place until they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. The face of God is this Bible. In their affliction, they will seek me early, showing you that we have a divine connection to the Creator. But as stubborn, rebellious children, the only way we'll acknowledge our Creator is when we get jacked up. These stories and other instances causes us to call on our God, just like we did in ancient Egypt. When our ancestors were enslaved in Egypt, that's in Africa. If you look at the monuments, the people that were enslaved in that situation are the same people scattered in this diaspora that were enslaved here in the Americas. So God says, I'm going to go and return to my place until you acknowledge their offense. Meaning what? You were the ones on Mount Sinai with Moses, given the law, given the statutes, given the commandments to follow. But because you chose to break those laws, those divine principles, generational curses came to us as a team, as a unit, as a nation, as a people. Part of those generational curses include slavery, colonization, mass incarceration, loss of identity. Okay, these various things that we go through are indications of who we are in these last days. According to the Bible, we are the Israelites. We are the lost tribes. So in order for us to fix and break these generational curses, in our affliction, we have to come back to the Creator and unify as a people. Unify and throw away all the BS we learned in America. The religious ideologies we had lied to us. The political ideologies they gave us lied to us. The educational system lied to us. They never told us who we were prior to captivity. So we need to unify one with another and go back to the Creator of all things to get divine retribution. And he'll give us the inspiration to rise up as a nation of people. Go ahead, Delay G. The Lady G, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just found out somebody's watching me through my computer.
But anyways,
Put a tape on that computer thing. Put a tape over it.
that's what I'm about to go get. Wow. But anyway, I know who it is. But anyways, that's where I was going to it. I got on my computer because I was actually about to do the same. We think alike. We're soul brother and sister. I was going to Obadiah. Like, even if you read everything, like the book of Jeremiah says, "Oh Lord, were the Israelites born to be slaves?" And then you look at what the man with the mustache said. He said, the Jews will blackmail and distort America, for they know that their plot to world domination will not work. They fear that America will fear God will do to them as he did to Egypt for mistreating the rope and tree, the children, the jewels of God. One day this world will plant in a mind, sprout, start World War III, and you will know the man with the mustache is right. Next thing you know, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Jews funded America, because America ain't had no money to step on the man with the mustache. Trust me.
Hey
Germany
sis,
at that time.
say small hats. Say small hats.
Oh, small hats. I'm sorry.
There's
They're
certain
small.
words on here when you say it, it triggers up the algorithms and people start getting in their feelings. So say small hats or blue and white flag.
Okay, the blue and white flags men, that's who Rockefellers and Rothschilds are. They funded America with that oil money to jump into the war, just like Hitler said. Just like the man said. Everybody gonna say that he was wrong and this and that. He was wrong. There's no excuse for any of that. But if you look into the deeper meaning of what he was saying, like, we turn around, we look at the industry. They're using the industry, music industry, to destroy us and sexualize our women and this and that and make our men violent and this. And just like the man with the mustache said. But if you take it back to Obadiah and everything, one, it was talking about how they would have to, okay, I'm gonna look at it, the exact words, but they would have to pay for casting lots against the land of Israel, casting lots for the people. What were they doing? They were taking us to auctions, casting lots, bidding on us. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to pay, but not by us packing our stuff, running up away and leaving. They're not gonna let us leave that easy. You're their workers, love. Like, imagine you in the slave quarters and then you just pack your stuff and be like, I'm going. They're going to be like, where the hell you going? You just better sit your ass down. You're going to have to fight. It's not, we're da-da-da-da. And that's the problem with the older generation, too. Like, y'all not like the people, like, before y'all. And I'm not talking about the civil rights era. They wasted a lot of our time too. I'm talking about when the YT man couldn't step foot in Florida because the Blackfoots and the Africans had it sealed. Like how, like the Bible said, Dan, that was the Native American tribe. You would have to they would have to taste your BLOD to walk through their lands. Back in the day, if you were a YT man and you wanted to walk through Native American land safely, you would have to let all the chiefs put a little of your BLOD on the tip of their spear. Like, mark your body up to let you know this one can walk through safe. It was only the African slaves that were able to walk through those lands safely. That's what we need to get back to. Not all this marching and kumbaya. We want to be accepted and sit next to you and this and that and the third. No, you got to fight for your land, fight for your rights, fight for your freedom. That's the only thing that's going to work.
I think I met Sister Lady G in a past life. She got that warrior spirit. She got that warrior spirit. All praises to the Most High. But keep in mind, y'all, our ancestors have tried many tools, and you had the Black Panther Party, you had the American Indian movement, you had various revolutionaries that did try to operate and use themselves and protect themselves. All of those people ended up getting older. All of those people ended up disbanding. These various movements ended up collapsing. But what we haven't tried is coming back to this Bible and understanding that we are the ancient Hebrews of this Bible, applying the laws of the Creator and receiving the divine protection that comes through that obedience. I'll give you an example. When you read the Bible, it talks about how a nation of people are connected to God by obedience to his laws, statutes, and commandments. When they broke the laws of God, that divine protection was removed. When they kept the laws of God, that divine protection was placed on them where no nation could come against you. Our ancestors are King David. Our ancestors are King Solomon. Our ancestors are the people of this book. For example, when you read in Daniel chapter 10, there's a description of Jesus Christ. It says, Daniel chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. It says, Then I lifted up my eyes, and I looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body was like the beryl, meaning he had a green garment on, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms, watch this, and his arms and his feet, like in color to polished brass. What group of people have been called colored in the United States? I'll wait. What group of people to this day are called people of color, whose comparison to polished brass burned in a furnace? That's us. And this was a vision about Jesus the Christ, who's a black man from the tribe of Judah. You understand? When you read Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5, he says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of
Not
Jerusalem.
even that forefront. He was
I am
from the
black.
tribe
That's
of
where we get the
Judah.
modern word, I am black but beautiful. You understand? So once we have a keen understanding that we're the people of the book, then we can receive divine protection by walking in the ways of the creator instead of our own ways. Because guess what? We tried politics, we tried the education system, we tried assimilation, we tried integration, we tried science, we tried all of these means to incorporate ourselves into a society that was unjust. But you can't turn a crooked thing straight. You can't turn that which is corrupt into into a flower. Okay. Welcome to the Forefront Radio. Johanna Israel, what's your question or comment?
I think
Johanna Israel. Oh, I see a teacup. Let's move to the next guest. Araya, what's your question or comment?
Hey, brother Shalom. I'm new to this story, and yeah, like the sister was saying, we got to fight back because it's like I'm gonna use an example with my family. Unfortunately, they look at the white tea, people as the saviors. They're better than us, and how the white tea people, the ish people, because they control everything, the music industry, the televisions, what how to how can I say this, describe our image, and that's how people look at us, and that's how it's sad to say that our family look at themselves like that, and they think that like I said, the white tea people are the right people, because like I said, when I try to break this down to my family, how we are the people in the Bible, they don't want to listen to me. They think I'm crazy. They want to go to to their slave masters. They just cooned out, and only thing I can do is pray for them and other brothers and sisters that think like that. But for the rest of us, yeah, I agree. We had to really fight back, like the sister was saying, and not trying to, you know, sit down on the same table with them. Because at the end of the day, when stuff pops off, what do you think they're gonna do? But that's all I have to say.
And the Bible also said, "Don't get your daughters onto their sons and your sons onto their daughters." But that's what Forefront was saying is even like it's comical because like even with Solomon, they say he had chain from around his neck, go from cheek to cheek, and he had locks. And he came from the tribe of Judah. That's one of them hood boys. Like, I'm not saying like if you dark skinned, chain around your neck, go from cheek to cheek, that goes a full mouth, a full wall. That's one of them hood boys. That's how they dress to this day. That's how they tribes dress to this day. Even when you go to Islam, there's a verse in the Quran that says, "And to the ones who transgress," that means sinned, the ones who transgressed against the Bible, we said to them, "Be despised, be monkeys, be apes." I was like, I'll be damned. They do be calling us monkeys. And you know what I mean? We have to turn back to God. He doesn't want us to be. He said he'll make the enemy our footstool, but we cannot disregard him. Like you come over here during, like even in Africa, before they took us over here in North America, the tribes that were in North America, a lot of them were doing child sacrifices. How are you going to sacrifice a jewel of God to a false God? Those are like two major offenses. Then we going to turn around and be like, God, why? This and that and the third. God, why these people doing this and that and the third to it? Well, how many times did we spit in his face? And Obadiah is not going to come to fruition until we turn back to him. He said he was going to bring their nest down from the stars as they soar as high as eagles. Like he was going to bring them down to the stars. He's going to divide up their lands and give it to us. But that was when the people actually stopped and took heed to God. You have to turn around and take heed to God. And yeah, we're gonna have to cut off 2/3. I don't. I have some people. They too far gone. They too brainwashed. They love massa.
Dexter, I saw you unmuted your mic. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to share something with you guys that I found out about the other day. So they always talk about the plantations, the cotton fields, the sugar cane, but it's another plantation they don't talk about. They never talk about. And what I found out about this plantation that they're going to
Hey,
talk
say that
about.
again. Speak closer to the phone because I didn't hear you. Say that again.
Okay, so they always talk. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello? Okay, so they always talk about the plantations. They always talk about the cotton and the sugarcane plantations. But it's a plantation that they don't talk about. And that plantation is called uh, the basically it's a reproduction plantation, right? And the U.S. Congress, I think between the 1600s and 1700s, they passed a law outlawing ships to bring more black people from Africa to South America and the West Indies. And they did it not because they wanted to outlaw slavery. They did it because they wanted to boost up the industry of the word is escaping me. Uh, Basically, they used a lot of little girls and had forced sex on them, and they literally created a lot of children, and they sold off the boys and recycled the girls back into these plantations, and these plantations quadrupled all over the United States, and they did it so much that they're not telling black Americans, but most of us are incest babies. And the whole city of Baltimore came from those plantations. That's why they call it the incest city of the world, of the country, and that's why so many drugs up there, because they literally incest us here. They did the most evilest things that you can even imagine to us in this country. So I agree with the brother from the West Indies saying that we need to get away from them. And I'm done.
I'm gonna make a biblical based comment based on what Dexter said. All that he just mentioned is biblical based prophecies written to our ancestors by our ancestors thousands of years before it happened. One of the generational curses that happened to the children of Israel was Deuteronomy 28, verse 30. It says, "Thou shalt betroth a wife," you're going to be engaged to a wife, "and another man shall lie with her." So that's going into the farming techniques that the brother was just mentioning that happened in the antiquated Americas, prior to the revolutionary times and the Civil War. "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein." Our ancestors were used. You remember when Barack Obama's wife stood and said, "I am in a place that was formerly built up by the descendants of slaves." You see? So we were building houses, the Capitol buildings, the railroads, and all of these things for another nation, and we did not dwell in those. While they lived in the White House, we lived in the shed. You understand? It says, "Thou shalt build a house, and another shall dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard." What's a vineyard? A plantation, like the brother was just mentioning. You had the cotton plantation, you had the grape vineyards, you had the sugarcane vineyards, right? You had the coffee plantations. All of these are biblical based prophecies that happen to a specific group of people, proving that we are the lost tribes of Israel. Here's another one that goes right along with what he was saying. Joel chapter 3, verse 3. "And they have cast lots for my people," like the sister was mentioning, auctioning people on blocks, "and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." So they were selling human beings with wine and muskets overseas back and forth. And while they were drinking, they had these parties. And while they were having these parties, egregious immoral acts were happening. Let's go to another text that proves this point. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. It says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people." When it says another people, that means another race, another people, another group, another culture. "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand," meaning no military might, no economic might, to get your children back from those that took them and sold them. You could have the same person that was sold in America called Peter, and they take them to South America or the Caribbean islands and call them Pedro. So we have to put away the deception in our mind to think that we're different groups of people. No, we are the same people. We are the lost tribes of Israel according to the Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. "Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity." So God said your sons and daughters would go into slavery, proving that you are the lost tribes of Israel. We're going to come back to Araya, what's your thoughts on what we just covered so far, and how can you relate to this text?
Repeat that because I kind of just stepped in because I was um getting stuff. I know you read about what was it Deuteronomy?
Yes, I was reading Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41 about your
Hold
sons
on.
and daughters going into slavery. Does this history match the history of your ancestors? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, it does.
All right, outside TV, does this history match the history of your ancestors?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I don't think physical war is the answer, man. Because Bible tells it's not physical, you gotta fight those guys spiritually. You gotta pray every morning, every day. That's the only thing they respect. That's the only thing gonna work. You gotta pray with emotions. Because man,
From the same and you already know our grandparents wouldn't have agreed with that. You are part of the 2/3. I'm sorry, you the 2/3.
The Lady
and
G, the
then
Lady
and the next
G,
thing I
Lady
notice
G,
is
don't do that, sis. Don't interrupt when a man in the speech. That's a law in the scriptures. Hold on, let me read something real quick because we gotta discipline ourselves in how we deal with each other, brothers and sisters. We all on the same team, all right? We all on the same team trying to figure out solutions on how to deal with the situation. So we got to be patient with one another. I'm gonna read this text of scripture, Lady G. I want you to meditate on this. It says. Sirach chapter 11, verse 7. "Blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
I don't want to interrupt
Understand
the scripture,
first,
but my boss.
understand
I'm
first,
sorry.
understand first, and then rebuke. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, and then rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk." You see what the Bible says? So we have to be patient with one another. We got to be patient with one another so that way we can deal right with each other. When somebody's speaking, let them finish what they're going to say and then provide your thought. We got to discipline ourselves. All right? Oh, where did the sister go? She disappeared. All right. Outside TV, go ahead, finish your thought.
so. Next thing I was looking at, I'm saying most of those people who own most of those stores in America, they don't even live there. They're in the sun, and we're in the cold. And if you look in nature, everything run from the cold. Once the cold start to come in, everything, all animals disappear. So why are we there? We see wars and we see things trying to scare us away from where we should be. And I think they do those same thing with Caribbean countries too. But when they go there, it's nothing like what they say. So our land, we should go back there. That's what God said. And that's the only thing gonna fix it because physical war is only, after that, is only going to be one set of people left. And is that what God wants? So we have to think about what God wants too. We know if we go head to head physically is only going to be one set left. So what does it have to be spiritual war? Is it they have to be confronted? Like that's what the only solution I see, man. Can't do it. So it's crazy. Just my thought.
Thank you for sharing that, because the Bible does say those that live by the sword be unalive by the sword. It does say that, and we have to be really mindful when it comes to these things, how to deal. What's the proper way and what's the best course of action. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. What's your thoughts, Dexter? Go ahead.
I agree with the brother saying that we need to not play our hand the way YT people play their hand. That is very true. I also agree with him when he said that we need to get out of here and go back to the motherland. But the only problem with that is that I'm from Washington, D.C., and most of the black people around here can't afford to even get a passport, nor less a plane ticket, right? So the only way that's going to happen is that we need knowledgeable, wise, very understanding black people with resources to stop using it on materialistic things that don't matter. And because I believe that all of these things around us should be bowing down to us, not us bowing down to it, because a car doesn't matter if you ain't driving it. A house doesn't matter if you ain't living in it. And clothes don't matter if you ain't wearing them. So you shouldn't be praising these names and these clothes. You should be taking these European dollars with Satan depictions on them and using them to gather this money to the point where we can have options we can't save everybody because the Bible say only 144,000 of us gonna wake up and realize what kind of trick bag we're in. But the ones that we can save, that can't afford to get out of here, those are the ones we should be trying to save. Those are the ones we should be focusing on. Not just talking about how we want to do this and how we should be doing something, because God helped those who help themselves. And if you just sitting back, let me give you this story. A lady sitting on a house and it's a flood and she on the roof and she about to drown. She praying to God to save her. I'm gonna make the story short. 3 ships came by. They all had to come by twice. They went past her and there was a dead end down there, so they had to come back past her again to leave. The last ship came and they said, "Hey lady, we're the last ship. You need to get on here. If you don't get on here, you're gonna die." She said, "I'm waiting on the Lord. The Lord gonna save me." So they left. She died, got in front of God, said, "Hey, Lord, why didn't you save me? I was praying to you. I loved you. I kept your commandments." And God looked at her and said, "Lady, I sent you 6 ships. They came by twice. I sent you 3 ships. They came by twice. So it was 6 ships, and you ain't get on none of them." So what I'm trying to say is that if we want to help ourselves, we got to do it and stop talking about it and stop putting all of these things like cars and clothes and homes and reputation and pride in front of it. We need to do what we know we all need to do. It is not a game. We keep talking, but we all know what we should be doing, and we all know we ain't doing it. That's all I got to say.
So that, all right. First, we have to have come to understanding what is the solution. First, then we're gonna move towards it. When everybody understand, like that's what we need to do. Alright, that's the future plan. Then we work towards that. We could cut everything else, but that's the solution. Now we gotta organize ways how we gonna get funding or whatever, how we gonna do it, or maybe we gonna teach our kids or whatever. Anyhow, we gonna do it, but that's how we gonna do it. But don't worry, it's gonna come. It's coming together. Remember, it's not we alone. God is in this, and He's on our side. So you don't have to stress a lot. It's gonna happen. He tell us that's what he's gonna do, and he know he's gonna do it. So it's not that we alone. Sometimes we have to just stay still, man, and just observe and watch, cause we are seeing him working.
Alright, you got any thoughts, sis?
Alright, you got any thoughts, sis? I agree with the brother saying. Alright, you got any thoughts, sis? I agree with the brother saying. Alright, you got any thoughts, sis? Hello?
Your account got a lot of echo, so drop
Yeah.
down and come back up.
Your account got a lot of echoes, so drop down and come back up. Your account got a lot of echoes.
Hit the guest icon, please, and come back up. There's a lot of echo that was going on. Here we go.
Okay, hello?
Much better. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with him how we all need to come together too, but I also believe if you're sincerely with all your might, all your soul and might, fearing the most high with fear and trembling and keeping his laws and commandments, I believe you will have that covering, but I don't know if it's somewhere in the Bible where it says that some of us will be martyred for this truth. And sometimes I think about that, and like the brother was saying, outside, if I believe he was saying, like, this is when you're just gonna have to just rely on the Most High and know at the end of the day, whatever happens to us, as long as we keep God's laws and continue to walk in the Spirit, just like His Son came down here to show us how to get to the Father. As long as we do that and we get unalive for it, hey, at least we know we're gonna be on the other side instead of going to the lake of fire with the rest of these other wicked people. So I mostly think about those kind of things.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, yes, it's true. Just like all the revolutionaries of the past, Peter, Paul, Jesus Christ, these were all revolutionary black men fighting for the upliftment of their people. Okay, Jesus Christ is a black man from the tribe of Judah. Read Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2 if you never read it before. The tribe of Judah, they are black. So now he wrote in the Bible, Matthew chapter 10, verse 6. Behold, I have sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils. That's the government agencies, right? And they will scourge you in their synagogues. So that means the religious leaders and the political people will be against this truth. They will be against who you are. What you're presenting from a biblical standpoint, they'll be against it. That's why they're passing laws now trying to ban the Bible, because they don't want you to bring out truth. This is why they're trying to ban TikTok, because one video like this reaches over 100,000 people in just one instant. So the news media can't catch up with all the lies that they're putting out. So instead, we're going to be brought forth before their councils, brought forth before their religious leaders, because they've always been pushing lies throughout the world. And now the lies have been coming to an end. It says, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Meaning what? The information that we're presenting based on the biblical text, they're not going to agree with it. It's going to be against the kings, the governors, the mayors, the politicians. These scriptures go against their kingdom. These scriptures will alleviate the mind. It will give you solutions to the problems in your community. They don't want you to do that because they know if they keep you in lawless behavior, they'll continue to have power over you. It's spiritual more than physical. They know if they can keep you in the midst of sin, having you more focused on rap beefs with Kendrick Lamar and Drake instead of keeping the commandments of the Creator, to perpetuate violence, perpetual immorality in the community, they could continue divine disorder because the divine protection is removed. But guess what? Even when you're standing up for what's right, some of them are going to try to unalive you. Verse 19, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. You understand? Malcolm X was given what to speak. MLK was given what to speak. Marcus Garvey was given what to speak. Jesus Christ was given what to speak. Sojourner Truth given what to speak. Ashada Shakur given what to speak. Queen Esther given what to speak. Deborah given what to speak. Peter, Paul given what to speak. So the Creator is going to give you what thought to say at that moment when you encounter that. Okay? Verse 20. For it is not you that speaks, but the Spirit of your Father, the Spirit of your Father, the Spirit of your Father, which speaks in you. So now some of your relatives, they're not going to care that you believe in this Bible. They're going to say, oh, this person is extreme because they want to get their life right. Shalom to you. Hope you're doing well. And the brother shall deliver a brother to unalive, and the father the child, and children will rise up against their parents and cause them to be unalive. And you shall be hated of all men, all nations, for my name's sake. But he, watch this, but he that endures to the end shall be saved. So no matter what comes your way, y'all, if you endure to the end, if you stand strong regardless, whether they persecute you in this city, go to the next city. You understand? Watch this. It says, but when they persecute you in this city, flee ye to another. For verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. So Christ is soon to come on the way. My mission is to travel to every city, every country to teach this Bible to as many people as possible. And I want to inspire those of you that listen to the Forefront Radio to have that same mindset. Okay, if they want to persecute our people in Florida, go to Georgia. If they persecute you in Georgia, go to the next area. If they persecute you in another area, move to another. But focus on the mission. Teach your people and remove the brainwashing that's on their mind. Teach them that Jesus Christ is a black man according to the Bible. Teach them that we're God's chosen people according to the Bible. Teach them to walk upright, to love your people as you love yourself, just like the Bible says. Walk in righteousness. Have integrity. These are the things, these are the solutions to the problems that we face today. And guess what? You endure to the end, you're going to be saved. Nobody should have more power over you. No vice should have more power over you, because you are the greatest thing to walk on the face of the earth. You understand? Dexter, you going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with you first of all, and I got a degree in facts, and I just got to tell you, from what I found out, the letter J wasn't created until the 1700s. So it was impossible for our brother to be called Jesus. His name was Yahshua. So that's the only correction I wanted to put in there, because the letter J wasn't even created when he was alive.
I agree with you
So
wholeheartedly
it was
on
impossible.
that statement.
Right. Yeah.
I say that for people that are new, that don't know that his name was Yeshua or Yahshua or
Yeah.
Yesu or Isa or Jesus. For those that are new, I tell them that. So now, if you also examine Old
Makes
English,
sense.
the letter S and the letter F were interchangeable. We don't say January, we don't say July, we don't say June. So all of these things, I try not to make a doctrine out of it, because there's no scripture that says don't use the letter J, don't use the letter W or
Right.
V. W or V, don't use S or F interchangeably. And another point, there was more than one person in the Bible that was called Jesus. You had, or Yeshua. Isaiah is the same name as Jesus. Hosea is the same name as Jesus. Joshua the son of Nun is the same name as Jesus. Jesus the son of Sirach, same thing. You had Jesus of Jehoshaphat, Jesus the son of Jehoshaphat, same thing. So what I try to do is inspire our people to keep the commandments of the Creator and not get caught up in name doctrine, because there's no salvation in name doctrine. If you pronounce his name correctly, that's not going to give you keys to the kingdom. But if you walk upright in righteousness, you're going to be all right. I'm traveling throughout Africa. Some people say Isa, some people say Yesu, some people say Malungu for the term God. But I'm not going to say, hey, don't say Yesu. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, let's continue with the scripture we were just covering. Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. It says, "The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?" Meaning, if you notice right now, there's a thing going on where they're trying to ban the Bible. It wasn't until Vladimir Putin recently put out archaeological data proving that Jesus Christ, proving that the Peter, Paul, and all these other people of the Bible, Moses, Mother Mary, Miriam, were all melanated people. Now all of a sudden you see these folks burning Bibles in front of churches. Now all of a sudden you see an increase in atheism. Now they want to pass laws to ban the Bible. You see that? That's what's going on, folks. It's spiritual. It's the kingdom of Satan versus the Most High. I'm telling you, that's what it is. I'm
And
telling you, that's what it is. If the Bible wasn't a true book, oh, you was going to say something, Araya? Go ahead, sis.
no, you can finish. I'll wait.
If the Bible wasn't a true book, why is it that these nation states are now passing laws, cleverly concocted terminology to say it's anti for reading out of the Bible? Go ahead.
I also wanted to add it on too. I don't know if you ever heard about the Noah hit law. Have
Yes,
anyone?
the Noahide laws. I'm
Yeah,
familiar
no,
with it. Go ahead.
yeah. Isn't that when they're ordering like modern day guillotines and all these kind of things like that? And I was thinking about, I don't know if it's in Revelation when John was saying, and I saw, people getting beheaded. I don't want to butcher the scripture. I don't know if those are the exact words. So it just had me thinking about that. Like these people been prepping up for what's about to come. Like I said, how some of us is going to get martyred for this truth, and that's what just like dawned on my mind about, like, they passed this law. I think it was like around like March 1994. I don't know, I remember looking it up. I was around that year I was little when they passed the law. But if you try to look that law up on Google or anything like that, you can't find it. You got to download these non-censor apps to look up these like certain laws because they don't want people to find out.
Good statement. Let me find the scripture for you. It's Revelation chapter 6, starting verse 8. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and he that sat upon him was called Unalive, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth," that's the Americas, "to unalive with the sword, and with hunger, and with unalive, and with beasts of the earth." So that's happening on the fourth part of the world. That's here in the Americas. Verse 9, "And when he had opened the fifth seal, he saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, Behold, how long, O Lord, how long, holy and true, dost thou not avenge and judge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto them, every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants and their brethren that should be unalive as they were should be fulfilled. So the same thing happened to the disciples, happening to the people all over the Americas. Innocent young men, women, and children are impacted by this. So the Bible is a true book. Revelation chapter 14, verse Revelation chapter 7, rather, verse 9. It says, "After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders, and the four beasts fell before the throne on their faces and worshiped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom, thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our God forever and ever. Amen. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto them, Sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, meaning what? Slavery, colonization, loss of identity, and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So that's going into exactly what the sister just mentioned. Outside TV, go ahead. What's your comment?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, man, we in a very special time right now, and we have to be very disciplined to survive. Like, first of all, I would advise everybody that what they want to do, what they want you to do is lash out. The God power is working in our life, but we have to understand we can't physically do anything, fight anybody, because that's what they want you to do. They will try to set you up, and that's the way they're gonna throw you in prison and handcuff you. They can't touch you as long as you don't fall for their trap. They're gonna set things in your way for you to steal so they could take you. They're gonna try everything. Don't lash out with anybody. Don't fight with anybody in this time. You have to be very forgiveful. As somebody do something, hey, I'm sorry, man, because they're gonna come, and that's the only way. No physical, nothing with anybody. Confrontation, please. That's what I have to say.
All praises to the Most High. Dexter, I'll let you have the last closing remark. Unfortunately, my phone is 3%, so I got to let it sit and charge. It's charging right now, but the level of it draining the battery is not catching up with the charge. So I'm going to let you have the last comment, and then we'll shut down the live.
Well, all I want to say is to, especially the people in the comments, got 160 people in here. Maybe they listening. The first battle was fought in the mind. So a man or a woman thinketh, so you be. And we have to start caring about what matters. And it's not how good our car looks or how big our house is, how much LT money we got in the bank. It's about us. And if it was all about me, none of you guys would be here. So the fact that you guys are here is testimony to the fact that it's about us. And that's how we have to basically that's where we have to basically put our strength and our understanding and our money so that we can have some options to get some land, maybe in Tanzania, maybe in Ghana, maybe anywhere, Brazil. But we have to do something, and we have to have a plan, because anybody that doesn't have a plan is always subjected to someone else's. Y'all have a good one.
All praises to the Most High. Thank everybody for sharing their thoughts on this particular podcast. I'm going to end off with this scripture, Numbers chapter 6, verse 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. We got one more commenter. My sister Zion's daughter want to give a comment. So go ahead, Sister Zion. What's your comment? Go ahead, Sister Zion. You're on.
Uh, Happy Sabbath and shalom to everyone.
Happy Sabbath, sis. Shalom. How are you?
I'm good. How are you two, please?
Doing awesome. Doing phenomenal. Can't complain.
Okay. Oh, praises. So I was tapping the screen and my hand pressed the request button, I think.
Okay.
So
Maybe
I
you
just
tap of the
realized
screen.
I'm up here. I'm like, what? So I got confused. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. My phone is at 3%, so I'm gonna let it charge, and hopefully, Most High willing, we'll come back up later today if it's the Most High's will, and we'll get into another discussion. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, darling. I appreciate Sister Zion for coming up. Araya, Outside TV, Dexter. Also, I think Brother Rayna had came up. Somebody named Clarity. What was it? Clarity or Chastity? I think came up, and another person by the name of uh, Forensic Nurse. So thank y'all all for your participation. What's the name of this podcast? Type the Forefront Radio on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, or go to Spotify, and you'll find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other platforms. We're also on YouTube as the Forefront Radio 1, and also a backup channel, the Forefront Radio 2.0. So I have two channels here on social media on TikTok. The Forefront Media is this main account, and my backup account is the Forefront Radio 2.0. Make sure you follow those two accounts. If you haven't followed this account, take about 30 seconds or so to allow people to follow this account. So whenever we go live, you'll be able to join in on the discussion. All right. All right. Thank you so much for participating in this live discussion. We got almost up to 20K, so thank y'all for tapping the screen and getting the likes up. Thank y'all for sharing the lives with other people. Thank you for your participation. The Forefront Radio started in 2020 as a podcast that dedicated to the diaspora. We teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the lost tribes of Israel according to the Bible and history. And we prove it with various topics of discussions impacting our communities in the diaspora. We try to provide biblical-based solutions so that way we can walk with hope. Because the Bible says in Romans chapter 15, verse 4, the things written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So thank you so much for everyone that participates, that listens. I want to thank all the moderators that moderated. I want to thank all the gifters that have sent gifts. All your gifts and contributions go towards us working here in Africa, teaching Black history according to the Bible. Thank you. Love your channel and respect what you are doing, sir. Much appreciated. We want to give hope to those that need hope in these last days, to carry themselves strong regardless of anything. So focus on the Most High. Peace and blessings to the 12 tribes. Shalom.